Zimzilla muted. Gotta love it. But how's it going, everyone? It's Zimzilla on Zimcast 127, the one Zimcast that kept getting moved from time to time because ultimately Sunday seems to be the day that work decides that it really wants to break me. Even now, I'm tad tired, among other things, but I'm hanging in because I needed this. We needed to do this, and Sunday seems to be the day almost everyone's free for the most part. So I thought it made sense for us to have this conversation now rather than later. We have a few people who are working on other things at the time, so they'll probably be joining a tad late. But I think I might as well just start bringing on people because I think this is going to be less than the traditional Zimcast. So for anyone who did do a stream submission, we're going to save those for tomorrow. I do have a stream prep for tomorrow. I just haven't posted it yet. And I think we all know what video I'm going to be covering. That goes without saying. So yeah, why not bring everyone on? So first up, you know him, you like him, he's blocky, and for some reason he keeps stealing all my emeralds. It is the Minecraft world.
Hi.
Hey. And coming up next, you like him because he says nay, and his love of horses is immense. It is Kaiju Kuru.
Hi.
And yeah, the weebiest weeb to ever weeb, and he's white, so it's ultra weeb, the one, the only. Go to the Makai Phantom.
Holy shit! It's him.
About fucking time you showed up.
I haven't been on many streams lately. I'll be
my
honest.
point.
It's there. He is. There's our favorite white boy.
Yeah, it's our token white boy.
So both of you. So first, before we get into everything, you both missed the Riga stream.
Unfortunately,
I wasn't online at the time, and also
I won't say it over air, but I'll text you why I wasn't.
I wasn't online at the time. I was kind of debating if I wanted to take another day off the internet today, but I decided, I'll open it.
Yeah, screw it. Yeah, fair.
And someone else just joined as well. He is the 98 lover, the 98 P liquor, some might say. I can't say the word because we're only 3 minutes in. The Vic.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Also, wow, the stream jumped from like 3 people to 8, so that's nice. I love
Rooney
that.
loves
And
you.
there's the one guy in what's it called? Discord. I always appreciate the one guy in Discord. I'm not sure who it is who watches me primarily on Discord, but I love it.
Really?
Yeah. He's the loyal, not Discord, Twitch. Why did I say Discord?
Oh,
yeah. The one guy watched me via Twitch.
Could you imagine, like, you go to G-Fest and you meet the guy who's just always on your Twitch stream?
Yeah. I'm just curious who it is because I can simul see every single all like comments from either Facebook or Twitch and obviously YouTube. So like I can always tell like who's viewing in from where. And there's just one guy who's always on Twitch, and I appreciate him. As well as I wanted to say hey to a few people who are in chats, but who aren't on stream. So, Dominic Cradu, I'm not sure what it is. So he says, though you play JWE, I assume that means Jurassic World Evolution, which I've never played that on stream, but okay, I guess.
Just asking if, I'm guessing he's just asking if you played it.
Well, I do not, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Swaggy.
And then Lava Dracovania asks, toxic fans exist too. Heck, every fandom has its toxic fans, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Fandoms in general are fucking retarded.
It's not 10 minutes. You literal spastic twit.
My sibling in Christ, spare the slur.
I need the money.
You're gonna get Zim banned on Twitch, bro. His career is gonna sink.
Exactly. That's all gonna take.
Gojin, listen, Gojin has to deal with the loose cannon that is Tokupunk.
Togebunk's
Yeah.
a server as well. He just doesn't talk as much.
I have a lot of loose cannons to deal with. I surround myself with lunatics.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
we noticed.
Ink Dragon says the thing is about the Godzilla fandom, in my opinion, is somehow it's gotten more toxic over the last 10 years, or am I just crazy and overthinking it?
So okay, I guess
Well, I'll just do two
This
more
is-
before we begin.
yeah,
I
because
just
I
want to say
actually
hey to
have.
C, who says he'll be in just late. He's listening on the way home, and then the stud himself because he's currently busy with something right now. So yeah, a few people are busy, and a few people will hop on later. I already gave everyone links, so I wanted to add to this.
Valid. I'm just.
So
Any word from Rooney?
he and Lauer are recording something, so they'll be on. It has something to do with 54, so I think they're about halfway through it. So they'll probably be on in a little bit, hopefully sooner rather than later.
What do you
But
mean? What
it
has
is what
to
it is.
do with what are they doing with 54?
I assume it's going to be some kind of commentary about like the franchise as a whole, because I was kind of listening in on a little bit of it. But you can ask them, and they'll probably just tell you. I didn't say anything because I just want to listen. I want to
I'll
ruin the
ask
recording.
Lau.
Yeah. Cool. But obviously, Curry, I know you said you had something to say, so I'll
Yeah.
let you start off.
I also don't know how long I'll be. I will probably not be gone for the whole thing, but I imagine dinner will probably be ready any minute now, and so just figured I'd go ahead and get it. What you guys are seeing as toxic, I see this as growing pains for the community. Because I'm seeing the exact same thing happen in the Monster Hunter community. Which is interesting because both franchises started really getting mainstream popularity at roughly the same time. 2014 came out, well, in 2014, and Monster Hunter World came out in 2018. And if you've looked at the charts, World continues to sit at the top of Capcom's like sales, and it's not even close. Like the top like sales slots on the records, which are public, it's all Monster Hunter and like Resident Evil. So what I see a lot of mirrors in both communities. And so whenever I hear people call it toxic, my immediate response is there growing toxicity? Yes. Is it an abnormal amount? Or is it an amount that it makes sense when you realize that this is a community that is expanding due to getting a more mainstream audience? And as we all know, the mainstream is full of just the smartest individuals.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think generally people who say that,
not to say that
like,
there aren't toxic people. I've dealt with a few.
No, yeah, there's definitely like toxicity, but I think overall, generally, when a community gets larger, you do attract normies, and whenever you brought in your appeal, the lowest common denominator will always follow.
Something I'll say when it comes to like when it comes to like fandoms in general, there's two types of toxicity. Like one toxicity is with the small fandom, and one toxicity is with the big fandom. The small fandom, their toxicity, and this comes from stuff like I noticed with I'll just call them out because I'm making an Evangelion video, but like Mecha fans, for example, they have this very big like thing of like every major entry into genre like sucks and will act like they know everything and be the most condescending like pricks about it. If you would confront them on any like analytical perspective, like on mise-en-scène, writing, musical score, all that, and what actually quantifies something good or bad instead of like vague assertions, they wouldn't able to actually do it. So it's like misplaced, confidence, which is something I really cannot stand. It's like
it's basically done. It's Dunning-Kruger. It's the Dunning-Kruger stuff.
I would say that more as like, I guess you could call it gatekeeping, toxic gatekeeping.
Yeah, and it's just like that comes from the small community because it's like a lot of their like praise doesn't come from actual quality, but comes from like what came first, what's not popular, and things of that nature. Yet they'll talk like they're being objective, but they're actually not.
I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
mean, like, when you say like
Oh.
small community versus big community, I think you mean like people who are really more ingrained in the community versus like surface level fans and like tourists.
Yeah,
I see this. There's like I can even see this in layers in the Godzilla fandom, because I will see. Oh, now we're past 10 minutes, so I can be mean. Some of the most insufferably smug little fuckwits who get into like wider tokusatsu stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, they become exceptionally insufferable. Not to like
I'm into wider tokusatsu stuff myself, but the thing is, I feel like a lot of these people who are like into wider tokusatsu, an issue they have is their horizon is still small. It's like, I'm into this whole genre, but if you would like bring them up, like I'm into a wide sea of media. Like I could bring up like all these different types of movies of different genres from the East, from the West, from past, present. A lot of them, like, they're stuck in their current interest.
Would you perhaps say you are a movie fan?
Filthy
I
movie
am.
fan.
I am 100%.
you
100%.
fell into the same pit as your arch nemesis. Oh
I'm
no!
I'm
We
100%.
must, Zim, we must destroy him. He's
Get
become
him out
very
of
more to destroy.
But no, but like this is
Gojin, you betrayed us. Minecraft, remove his nuts.
when it comes like,
Checkmate! I brought the ball crusher.
when it comes to like the big fandom though, like that, what I mentioned was like the small fandom toxicity. The big fandom toxicity is like the mainstream stuff of, oh yeah, let's change everything to fit, to be against like what it ever was. I don't want to say like woke, because I fucking hate the anti-woke crowd, but they're not entirely wrong that when you do bring it mainstream, you do have a lot of people like trying to correct it into something
politically correct art bros, as you once called them.
It's like it's that kind of thing. I would like to speak as someone from the Death Battle fandom, because that is in a lot of ways a hodgepodge of various different communities coming together and seeing that kind of interaction firsthand. Yes, I wouldn't. Yeah, the problem with it is the problem with power scalers is that we take this stuff is that we, as in, well, they take this stuff very seriously, and by they I mean Nebulous. There are plenty of good people. Some of them I'm still friends with, but a lot of that is because it is such a big hodgepodge of different communities coming together, bringing their own ideals, bringing their own like viewpoints. All of them are very different ages. Like, yeah, most of them are generally mid to young adults, but there have been some old crustaceans, and there have been some new birds. It's like seeing these kinds of fandoms interact. I think that adds to Kuru's perspective, because we also need to take into account the age of these people. How old are the people who are coming into these groups who are being as dramatic as they are? And like that's what I kept in mind back in my Versus days, and something I still keep in mind when it comes to like discussing power scaling.
Yeah, and the thing is, power scaling can be interesting. Like, there's many times where I've kind of turned away from power scaling simply because, like, I found people to be really fucking insufferable about it. But power scaling itself is not a bad thing.
Speak of the devil, they just called me for dinner. I will try to be back soon. What I will say is, I will get, like, one final thing out before I go. I think, ironically, everything you're saying can be viewed in a microcosm in the Godzilla fandom, particularly because it has now found its roots in other communities via all the crossovers. It definitely leads to a lot of interesting bleed over, and even in there's a lot of different ages for Godzilla fans. Like, at various different servers, I've met people who are in their 40s going on their 50s, and in the same server, someone who I swear should not have Discord at that age.
I agree. I'll be honest.
So-
Like,
It's
I
just
agree
it's like you can see a lot of it in a microcosm of just all the different types of cultures, quote unquote, in fandom. I've been a part of. I haven't been an active member of the community for very long, but I've been an observer for like close to a decade now.
Zim, I was just about to state, you know what to do.
You're trying to get your. You need to get your boy back.
Vengeance!
Save him. Save your child. You need
Destroy
to bring
the
him
child.
back to. You need to bring him back to his senses.
Have you tried him out?
I've tried him out. I think he's fun to play. It's just like I need to get better
I'll be
at
back
his
in.
specific
Give me like 30 minutes.
kind of how he just plays, because he does not play the same as Rawa does.
Yeah,
Which
No, I
my
will
concern
say-
was that.
I will be back in like 30 minutes. See y'all. I hope.
I'll probably
Yeah.
be gone about then because I'm only able to be on for like a little bit.
but
But yeah, something
yeah.
something else I'd like to say though is I do feel like a lot of people who are on about like fandom toxicity, a lot of them are themselves. I'm not going to mention any names. Very, very toxic, and I find them to be like, you know, like even like people are just like posting like lighthearted fun memes. Sometimes someone will just come in and be like a complete asshole just to ruin it. And they'll make their entire image, you know, like saving the fandom, doing something to make it better, which is like, no, you are being yourself a toxic dickhead. And at the same time, you're not going to make any changes. You're just being annoying and moral grandstanding. That is its own type of toxic. And you have a lot of that in these fandoms.
Yeah, I'm like kind of on the same opinion. Like you could technically kind of lump some of what I do into that as well, mainly because of the fact that like the whole like a main draw of the Zimcast is covering bad videos and like trying to essentially mop up like misconceptions or just general sentiments there are in regards to like just Godzilla in general. But I want to talk more about like the age thing. And I think that like there seems to be like a almost like a kind of age blindness when it comes to people, because I don't think everyone realizes just like how like diverse in age the fandom can be, because of like probably just interacting with people who are just your age. And
Yeah.
then also just because of the fact that it's the internet, people tend to forget like that aspect and see them as just like their account rather than like a person.
Yeah,
Not to be like, oh my gosh, you don't really think about them as people. It's more like no, we just never think about like, oh, the person we're talking to probably is just a child.
That's something that I've kept in mind. Like that, whenever I learn of someone's actual age, it usually always surprises me, because either you can have one version where it's like they are incredibly mature for their age, and it's genuinely like hyperbole. It puts my faith in humanity. Whereas in the opposite example, and this happened with 05 when he was on the server, most of us thought he was a child.
Yeah.
Most of us thought he was an actual child. So there is that big disconnect. That like people say the internet has become less and less anonymous. Yes, it has, but it's still anonymous. You don't know someone's real name or face unless they actively choose to give it to you.
Yeah,
Or you
very much.
choose to like look for it, unfortunately, with some
Something
people.
I'd like to address about what you said though, Zim. You said you kind of do that too. No, I'm not putting you on the level of like any of the people I'm not naming, because here's the thing: I do what you do. Like my whole Evangelion video is me picking up like argument from mechatards and like putting my research I found from both Japanese and English sources, and also combining what Eva and its influences both are at their core, and then clearing up the misconceptions. Like, there's nothing wrong with clearing up misconceptions and also pointing out arguments are bad faith. This is telling people to be smarter. What I'm talking about is people that are saying that, that are trying to weed out all the bad apples, trying to quote unquote kick them out of the fandom to make it a safer place. Those people, me and you aren't doing that. We're just educating and offering logic opposed to the ignorant and opposed to like popular ignorant perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the reason why I bring it up primarily is because I never want to feel like I'm ever above scrutiny or criticism in
Well,
any
you're not
metric.
above scrutiny or
No,
criticism.
yeah,
like,
none of us are.
I'm good, as I'm right,
Yeah,
actually,
I'm not
all
either.
the time.
Like,
Unfortunately.
yeah, we all have our stupidity, all of us.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have at least one absolutely awful take. Like
Hell, we
Mhm.
all have things to learn. Like, for example, there's a lot I learned from using, but there's
Mhm.
also some stuff that, like, there's some stuff I also believe that you could learn as well, which is why I sent you, like, videos from Movie Wise, is I think that could help you and make you even better, because, like, you've helped me in many ways.
Yeah.
I think this is prominent in the art streams where art flash fiction, recent ones, and the pitch streams where a lot of us are like, we're actively improving our craft from a narrating and storytelling and just story making standpoint.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially considering all of us have our own different preferences, viewpoints, and ideologies that come ahead in these stories. I think I was rewatching the Gamera pitch stream earlier today, and part of what makes that my favorite Zimcast and probably my favorite ZCU entry period is because it's so different. They all use the character of Gamera very differently in their own ways, and yet they're all very faithful, even in their own distinct manner. Like Fortuous, Trago Gamera, and what is it? Destroyer of Guardians couldn't be any more different, and yet they all understand what made Gamera work, and even if they were presented differently, told differently, you still have those creative outlooks and that interesting viewpoint into different people's processes, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd say so.
No, it definitely does. And I think, well, with art, it's oftentimes a lot easier for people to like feel differently about art because like we understand like the concept of, oh, we need to understand creative vision. Whereas like when it comes to like opinions, it seems like that's oftentimes harder for people to conceptualize. But I also think too, like, I think people like tend to think that there's going to be some kind of general morality or code of conduct that's going to occur to a fandom. But then also not realize the fact that if you are dealing with people from like all over the world with all these different experiences, there is never going to be some standardized code of conduct, ethics, or anything of the sort. It's always going to be very different and very specific to the person.
There's unspoken rules, but not everyone's going to be aware of them.
Yeah, essentially. And I do think another thing too when it comes to art is I think like while there's a whole thing with opinions and all that, people like there'd be a lot more educated perspectives if a lot of people, and this is with every fandom, this is not unique to Godzilla, this is every fucking fandom ever with people who are very opinionated. If people would like actually, you know, study the craft, and I mean like deeply, like look into a bunch of teachers, read a bunch of books, read a bunch of articles, actually study the work, and not just study writing either. Writing is just one piece to a puzzle. Like the direction is what provides the visual storytelling, actors provide storytelling, music provides storytelling. This is a problem that many people like forget when they analyze art. They boil it down to
like writing is the foundation, but that's not everything that makes a story a story. You can have the foundation of a building, but the building's still not going to exist without everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's all there. So it's like a lot of people don't do that. And even when it comes to writing, a lot of people couldn't really tell you a lot of the meat of what makes good or bad writing. They could point out like something like a plot hole or something like that, but they couldn't really get into like what makes good or bad dialogue or what makes this and what makes that. Like for example, like I think Star Wars Episode 3 is an amazing movie. I love that film overall. But there is some objectively bad dialogue in Star Wars Episode 3. Like when he says, Anakin, the Chancellor Palpatine is evil. And Palpatine says, and Luke, and Anakin says, for fuck's sake.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost.
Yeah, that's bad dialogue there because he's literally just spelling out what he's saying he's spelling out his point of view without offering any, you know, like nuance to why he holds that point of view other than, joke's on you. That's subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, no, that's I don't know where to continue from this.
Basically, it's just like if you're gonna act like if I have a bit of an opinion, I'm opinionated myself, but if you're gonna be opinionated, educate yourself. That's something
Exactly.
every fan
Exactly. Like that's the purpose of us covering these kinds of people. Like that's whether it be someone like Little Platoon who has experience in writing, or Adam Does Movies who is trying to be casual, to even like it's or even someone like Das Reviews who absolutely fucking sucked when it came to like addressing Disney's dinosaur. I talked about him on my stream. It's like that's the point. It's not trying to be bad faith entirely, because like for me, you have to warrant all of this. That's why that's why people like Anthony Gramuglia and Adam Does Movies got so under my skin. Well, Anthony Gramuglia because it became personal, not personally insulting, but like I lost a debate against him, and I made a fool of myself that day. But with Adam, with those two, it's like it's willful ignorance as well as spiteful smugness. Like Adam calling us thin-skinned, or just blatantly getting shit wrong about -1, Nosferatu, Primitive War, and Iron Lung. Or Anthony Gramuglia just being like pulling the source I made it up quite literally in regards to Godzilla 1984.
The thing is, when it comes
like
to Anthony Gramuglia is way worse than Adam, mainly because
Gramuglia... but I'm using them as two very different examples, because both of them were like, yeah, the inherent thesis is there, but they also showed themselves to like actively try to be provocative, even if subconsciously.
That's like in Anthony's case, he clearly has like his political stance on the thing, and therefore a lot of his media analysis is tainted by his politics, and like almost everything he covers is more applicable to like social interactions and politics of what's going on than just like genuinely wanting to just talk about these things absent like any kind of social like cause that he may want to champion.
He's also a fucking liar. Like, he said that, like, for example, he made a whole video on about how there's no such thing as actual objective criticism. But then,
we covered that.
Yeah, but then when Literature Devil, called him out on that, he said Literature Devil was lying and saying that, actually, no, I didn't say objective criticism does exist. I said Mahler has good points, but I don't like his attitude. No, your video does not just boil down to you not liking
So
his
then what
attitude.
the fuck was the point of titling your video that?
Yeah, or exactly. The whole thing where he was like, "Oh, Literature Devil bored me, and I'm not going to listen to him if he bores me." Which, like, that's also it's very clear again. Like, his entire perception about things is painted by his politics rather than just like a desire to discuss things.
Yeah,
I like going back to the thing about like age as well as like etiquette and things of that nature. I think it's like a problem that's technically inherent to democracy itself, because in a democratic system, you and everyone else, your vote matters essentially in the like the same way, whether you are educated or not. So in a fandom, your voice in the fandom technically has the same amount of value, unless like you're someone who wants to pursue more like become a voice in the fandom. But that's like the same thing as like acquiring power in the real world in a democracy, where like if you gain lobbying power, then you are ultimately going to technically have more power.
I will say,
if I may continue, circling back to the ethics thing, I would say Adam Does Movies is the exact opposite then. Not in a good way, because the motherfucker has blatantly lied at multiple points and actively come across as just a dunce. Need I say anything about the Primitive War, Nosferatu, or -1 videos? C is planning to cover his Iron Lung review at some point when Iron Lung gets its DVD release.
And I think the other thing too is that when it comes to just like fandoms and communities, like people like have this perception that they like it's all for fun, and as a result, then we shouldn't take it seriously. And then there's other people where they do care about it, but they also can't read the room or realize that like there's cases where a certain vibe and like a level of seriousness is not warranted in certain situations.
Yeah, no, that's like that's what I
You finish.
That's what I noticed. That's what I pointed out in the Primitive War review, in the Primitive War stream on my channel. A lot of Adam's etiquette and a lot of like his structure, the viewpoint of no wait, it wasn't the Primitive War review, it was the Nosferatu one. The viewpoint of a guy who's just talking to his friends about movies, it doesn't come across as strongly when this is your literal job.
Yeah.
It comes across as like dishonest, disingenuous, and half-hearted. Not in the same way that Chris Stuckman is.
Something I will say, like when it comes to like people taking it seriously, I think there's a balance you gotta achieve. Because on one hand, so I'm gonna get deep in on this. I think, like, for example, there is a lot of people who just want to enjoy themselves, and I don't think we should harass them with, like, no, I don't want to say harass, I'm sounding like a little bitch now. I don't think that we should bother those people just enjoying what they like and stuff like that. And I'm talking about, like, normies with, like, oh, yeah, like, quantify why you think this is good and all that, because that's them. They don't understand what makes something... I'm sounding condescending.
I actually want to stop you right there, because I think that's actually... I don't think that helps either, because with the normie doesn't really care. So therefore, like, something could just be of poor quality and they're just going to want to consume it because, hey, it's all fun. I'm here for vibes and all of that. So as a result, if you do sort of like let sleepy normies lie, then you will probably have a like poorer product as a result, because again, those are going to be the people you will appeal to.
I will point to the Mario Galaxy movie.
I understand that, but like again, I try to be respectful. But on the other hand,
if for example, if someone just says like, "Hey, I'm not really big into this fandom," or like, "I was just kind of here for this," and that's what it is, and they're not trying to be like everything should be like this.
Yeah,
then that's fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's the thing.
But I think it's like when someone, for example, like again, tying it back to Godzilla, whenever I hear someone online says something to the effect of like, no one cares about like human writing in a Godzilla movie, or I'm just here for the monsters, my immediate thought is like, you have like, just pay for your internet provider and go watch like fight scenes on YouTube. Like, don't like try to like give your voice to these conversations, because you are making the product worse in that case.
Oh, I agree with that. Actually, here's what I'm saying. Like, I think you'll agree with this. I think if you're that type of fan, and it's just a person who likes what he likes, don't try to debate people who are giving their opinions in a more critical and objective fashion. Do not say stuff like no one cares about human writing in a Godzilla movie. That's a you thing. There's a lot of people who do. Basically, do what you do. Everyone will leave you alone.
Yeah, like stay in your lane, like, essentially.
Yeah, it's Freddie G. Baff is in the chat.
Who's that? Stop
motion Godzilla YouTuber. Hi.
Another thing I'll say though is like when it comes to like behaviors, again, like I kind of went into this earlier, but I think a lot of fans aren't good critics. I like, again, this is coming from a like I used to be like this. Like I used to think, because I had because I felt a certain way that what I believe is the objective way, then I actually looked into what made art quality. Now I hold my objective stance more than ever before, but what changed is I have technically got another level of snobbery to me, and that snobbery is basically me saying that a lot of fans, and I do realize this is a lot of fans, a lot of them are just saying what they subjectively want, and say rather a work is actually well put together or not. That's why they'll eat up like a lot of things that are just fan service over quality. Which that's why I think a lot of fandoms who basically, I know you go on about movie fandom, and there is some truth to that, but I do respect movie fans, ones who actually understand art, not the stupid art bro like Anthony Gramuglia, or even people like Adam. Like I'm talking about like people like Movie Wise or something. People who are just general film buffs, Movie Wise, Xenodrome, anybody like that. who actually understand film and could go into, okay, this writing's bad, but here's why this writing's bad. And the reasons on why the writing is bad isn't because, oh, this did something that I personally wouldn't like, rather than this is incoherent or this is contradictive to something we've seen before.
Also, I just checked Freddie's channel. Hello. I really like your stuff, man. Like, at least I've never subscribed to you before, but at least looking at some of the models that you make in the stop motions and you do good stuff, man.
I've seen your stuff with the Godzilla versus Slenderzilla stuff.
Like for example, with Shin Godzilla, for
and
example,
real quick, Sea Monster is now joined. Hello.
Ha!
I've come.
Hello.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
He did what?
How you been, man?
Well, doing okay as of like recent days, but overall pretty good.
That's good
in general. But yeah, right. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just like having some hot dogs for dinner.
That's
if I had my caffeine right now, I would make a joke. But yeah. Basically, I think a case with fandoms, like a lot of people like will act like they're a critic, but they didn't actually like do the homework to earn it. And doing the homework is realizing how films are made, what quantifies quality, and also studying the film itself on what's supposed to be. Now, here's the thing. I used to fall into the intentional fallacy trap, but there's actually two things. Intention is very important context, but you also need to like look at the entire piece of the puzzle in that. But a lot of people lack that nuance. Some people will just say, "Oh, this was the intent. This was the intention, therefore it's good," rather than "This was the intention, and here's why it's good." Like the intention should be brought up, like if someone's missing the point of something. Like for example, what example was I gonna make? I was gonna make one. Basically,
what is it? Codem Pro Nuke? The Codem stuff with.
They could do that one, yeah.
Like people saying people saying that Codem is pro-nuclear, despite one, ignoring context clues in the movie, and two, Doherty explicitly trying to avoid that at every possible angle.
Yeah, like the intention here is valuable because it basically tells the person that person is missing the point. Now, a valuable criticism in this case, but here's the thing: they would still have to like quantify why it gives off that vibe, rather than saying, "Oh, I just felt like it was like pro nuke." A criticism you could bring up is it's anti-nuke, but it comes off as pro nuke. But to that, I'd say, okay, but why does it come off like it's pro nuke?
How does it come off? And then we go into that whole spiel about like why Sarazawa's sacrifice does or doesn't make sense, writing wise, etc., etc. There we go.
Yeah, it's a big philosophical debate. That's what it is. It gets very complicated.
Yeah, especially considering when sometimes we don't know the director's intent. Sometimes the media doesn't have that much behind the scenes to work with, or the behind the scenes is contradictory in a lot of ways. Cloverfield, I think, is a huge example of this. Where
you gotta try to find it within the text, like as Movie Wise said, art is first and foremost a language, and make that language.
You can't. Yeah, but relying solely on the text, sometimes you may get the wrong intention. So that's when you turn to external media to understand it. I think Zim, that's why you place a lot of emphasis on 54 and Raids Against novelization. I think.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to any analysis of media, you should first look at what the actual text, which is the primary source, is doing or showing you. After which you can contextualize your analysis via external means, such as an audio commentary or interviews, behind the scenes stuff, anything to give you a broader understanding of what is being said or implied by a scene. After which you can then come to a conclusion and create a better take as a result. You can say this was the intention of the scene right here based on all these factors. You should also consider the fact that things such as what the director meant by a scene can change over like a certain period of time. Like someone could very much like change how they felt about like what they wanted to do with the scene, like in an interview, like right when the movie came out versus years down the line, because of like things such as like fan backlash or even fan like reappraisals, things of that nature. I think that like you should always take anything when it comes to film with a certain degree of salt, and as a result you can form your opinions by what is most likely to be the case, rather than just this is the intention of the scene, this is what the director said, and that's what I'm going to go off of.
Well, here's what I'd say about that. Like, when it comes to everything, both the art and the statements said by the creator of the art, you gotta like put them together, analyze the whole meal as one thing, and be like, okay, why is this, why is that? And if the director's word like goes against what's conveyed, then you have to think of the context of, okay, why did they say this and why did they say that, or maybe they are lying here and then. Now, if a director like changes their mind of what an art piece meant later, that doesn't really change what the work originally meant, because, like, for example, I could say something to you right now, and later, based on how I feel, I could tell you, oh, I meant something different, but that really doesn't change anything.
Well, that's a little different, because at that point, if you're saying you said something now and then you like felt differently about what you said later, at a certain point, that is just lying. Like that's different towards like the intention behind like, and a little bit different. That's different than an artistic intention, I'd say.
I disagree, mainly because like art is first and foremost a language. Like it's supposed to communicate what it's trying to do in its intended way.
Yeah, but in that case, like at least the example that you're giving, unless I'm wrong, you know full well what you mean to say, and then later on you premeditatingly are choosing to infer that it was something different.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. Like if someone said like their art meant something different.
That's not exactly the same thing, because I feel like with art, like with any form of art, the impressions and feelings that someone's going to have from the art that they've created and how that affects them or how it affects other people is going to change in a way versus a premeditated choice to obfuscate something.
So death of the author.
To a degree, sure.
I disagree with you. I actually really hate Death of the Author. I think it's a terrible.
I think Death of the. I think
why?
Because Death of the Author is entirely subjective, and it kind of like takes.
Well, here's the thing. What if, like, and this is here's an example. Like, what if Ishiro Hondo said that Gojira 54 was just about a penguin in a seat? You just didn't see it. Like, would you then take?
I'd look at his word, and I would look at the situation and when he said it, and I'd ask myself, why did you say that? And then I'd ask myself, like, then I'd ask why he would like give that perspective. Like, that's why. Like,
so why would that not be Death of the Author then?
Well, Death of the Author.
Because the author's wrong in that case. Like,
no, Death of the Author is like saying.
Well, no. Also, real quick, Joey? You're getting Death of the Author wrong, because Death of the Author means that it's entirely up to the fans' interpretation, rather than what I'm saying, where the author of their own volition is choosing to infer a different meaning.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying
that's a little different. Yeah.
Okay, because Death of the Author means like the artist's intention doesn't matter.
Yeah. Death of the Author purely like disregards the artist, like the author completely.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if Ishiro Hondo is saying that, he wouldn't be wrong. He'd just be lying, because it's like that. If he would like give that perspective, I'd have to ask him, like, why did you say this? Like,
yeah, but if it's not true, then it's still wrong. Like, it's.
Yeah, but again, the work itself is still there. Like, here's the thing: the work itself, I see as itself like a statement.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, if he had that sort, if he pretty much made Gojira exactly as it was, like the same, like as we have it. But he pretty much came out and said, pretty much had the perspective that it was about a penguin in the seat. We just didn't see it, even though that was never even though there's absolutely nothing in Gojira 54 to suggest that is the case.
Okay, so you're saying that would be like the allegory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even like, exactly. Like, not even the allegory. Not even an allegory. It's pretty much.
Okay, if you're saying like Godzilla himself is a penguin, then there's two situations for this. Either he's lying, or he really did a bad job at portraying that, at telling a story about a giant penguin.
Well, so like another thing is like with Death of the Author, I feel like it's useful if like in certain situations, because there are certain cases where like the intention of the author is like if the author fails in the language, then I think it is up to the reader to then form their own interpretation or propose a better interpretation based on what's shown. Like
if the author failed in the language, then the author made an objectively bad piece of art. That's how I see it.
like so does
So
basically
basically,
as real quick since I technically have the floor. Nico is on now as well.
Hey y'all, Scott here.
The whole thing with, in this case, you think art is only objectively good if the intentions of the director always come through.
Not just the director, but like everyone. Like, for example, if a work is intended to be something and it fails at doing that, then it's bad. Like, that's just
So
really
then
all
what
it is.
what if those different people have clashing intentions?
If those
who
different people
is-
have clashing intentions, like for example, like if those people have clashing intentions, you kind of have to. Maybe the whole piece isn't bad, but like their like specific elements are bad. Like, for example, like the musical score. If an artist with the music intended one thing, then the music could be judged in its own way. But if like those clashing intentions don't work together, then you could also argue that it's still a flaw with the work because now you're having conflict. Like, for example, a musical score should not conflict with the direction or writing. They should complement each other.
Like, for example, do you think Starship Troopers is an objectively bad piece of art?
I think it's okay. So about Starship Troopers.
Wait. Mine
So-
is
Yeah, I was about to say mine
What
is
the
0
fuck?
trailers dropping in 2 days.
ooh,
Okay,
nice.
and I was about to
What?
say, like,
Wait,
I was about to
we
say,
just
So
got that
where,
announcement?
Yes,
Emma, here's
we
what I'll
just
say
got
about
that
Starship
announcement
Troopers.
just now.
Here's what I'll
oh,
say
from
about
where though?
Woohoo.
I found it on Rick's server. Hold on, I'm sending the street I'm sending the street
hold on.
out. Hold on.
No,
hold on. It's from the
Oh, no,
official.
I
Mine is
just
their
got
trailer on Tuesday
It's from the official. Come on. I
Wait, no,
what
from
he
the
was
official
mode
where?
I
on
posted it in
Twitter.
general. I posted it in general.
Kaiju news outlet.
The official officiates.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Now I see it right here.
Now, regarding Starship Troopers, something I want to say. I'd have to ask you, like, Starship Troopers was intended to be like a satire on like militarism and stuff like that.
It's supposed to be a
lot of
satire. It's
a
an
lot of people interpreted it that way. But what about that? What's in the actual text that contradicts with the intent of being satirical? I always took Starship Troopers as being a little over the movie as being a little over the top.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
like
heard-
book, like ignoring the book entirely. The movie is supposed to be a satirical, like commentary on militarism and fascism.
Yes, but if a lot of people like took the movie as like pro all that, okay.
Well,
but
no, some like, but that was the thing is like there was never like a consensus on it. There was always some people who thought that it was pro like militarism, and some people like clearly saw the intention behind it. So I would
Okay,
say like in that case,
like if you
Well,
see
my-
the movie.
Well,
like,
I'm
it's
asking.
clear
What I'm
that-
asking here is like, how does Starship Troopers like fail the intent of the artist to be satirical? Like,
because
what that contradicts that.
well, first off, primarily the Federation isn't fascist.
Okay, then
If
there's a
you're-
conflict within the intent. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that make it entirely bad though, because while the theme is one thing, there is other elements to make a movie than just the theme. But they did fail on the aspect of it taking your word on that regard. It's been a while since I've watched Starship Troopers. It failed at being a satire of like militarism.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess like another thing I would say is like, so do you really think that the intention of the author is just as valuable as like what we actually, the quality of like what we actually got, in terms of like whether or not the work holds up? Like how would how would that stance hold up if we were to discuss something like Manos: The Hands of Fate as an example, which is like one of the most infamous examples of like bad cinema, like of all time, quite frankly. Like what
Can you clarify that again?
okay so like what if like would this argument about like the author's intent reflects on whether or not something is objectively succeeds or fails, like as a piece of media? Like how does that apply to something like Manos: The Hands of Fate, where pretty much every aspect about that movie fails?
Does it fail at? Well, first of all, something I will want to say, like even when it comes to quality, I say the intention, I do want to specify, the intention is the foundation. Like, there is a group of people, and I used to fall into this, that would be like, okay, it's intended to be this, therefore it's good. Well, really, it's like, okay, here's the intention. Now, here's why it succeeds that intention or fails that intention. Now, of course, some intentions are dog shit, but that's mostly when we get into morals, like, get into, like, moral shit. And like, for example, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, if you're, like, spreading... Like, someone could argue, like, if you're intending to be, like, propaganda or shit like that, someone could argue that's morally bad. So you could criticize that.
Well, like, Manos was literally made on a bet to see, like, if Harold P. Warren could make, would or could make a horror movie. That's literally it. Like, and like, if you just if you watch the movie and like everything, like, and someone comes out and say like that's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, they don't even, like, the acting is terrible. It's obvious. Well, I mean, the dub, like, everyone's like dubbed, and the dubbing is terrible. The production value is ass. The soundtrack is absolutely repetitive and doesn't fit with any of the scenes at all. And the direction is just so piss poor that the movie just comes off as like it just drags on and on and on. But someone can just be like, yeah, but the director made a horror movie on a bet and he proved it, and that was the intent. See? And so
that's something I'll say. I think that's a little too broad. I will say, though, on one hand, I think intent is one piece of the puzzle. It's the foundation. But, like, for example, like, someone could be like, I didn't intend, like, for example, lazy. There's a difference between missing the point and lazy. Like, for example, a film like Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. The creators did not intend for those characters to be interested, to be good, but here's why those characters are still bad. They didn't care about them. They were lazy. Like, they didn't have an artistic vision they were trying to convey with the characters, other than, okay, here's filler, here's exposition, this is explaining what's happening with the monsters, that's it. Like, if the intention is just to be lazy for something else, rather than having, like, a passionate, like, specific artistic vision you're trying to, like, convey for the people that will appreciate that vision, then even then I could say your intention is bad. Because you could do, like, a monster mash film like Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire and have the characters serve a purpose. Like, I've already went into, like, the rush plots and stuff like that in GXK a million times, so I don't think I need to do it again. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, with the intention being bad, and, to the point where you would just be like, yeah, like, this just led to, like, a really poor, project, essentially, at the end of the day, like, quality-wise, then I think the intention to be honest, like, I think, like, whether or not the authors, like, intended for the characters to be interesting or not, like, it just shouldn't, or whatever the intention was or not, like, like, whether or not a piece of art holds up from an objective standpoint, I honestly just think should go beyond what the authors intended. I really think it just should be like the execution of the whole thing.
Here's why I think that's somewhat flawed: is a lot of people will like take on like the intention of something and will say work is like objectively good or objectively bad because it doesn't appeal to their like personal taste. But like, for example, if the artist like the whole thing with that movie you brought up, for example, the horror movie, like he did prove that he can make a horror movie. He did do that, but did he prove that he could make a horror movie that's thought out? Did he prove that he could like add that he could show talent as an artist? Anyone could make a horror movie. I could make a horror movie.
He never sought out. The bet wasn't so much that he can make a good, well thought out horror movie. It's just, can he make a horror movie? And like, if the intention was there and it just showed like it's like the barest of like, as you put it, it's like anybody can make a horror movie. It's pretty much the barest of bare minimum, regardless of whether or not you have any talent. So it's like that's why I think intention, like, if it's like, if the author succeeded at just making a horror movie, regardless of whether or not like anything about it was even remotely functional, down to like the minutia of any technical aspects of it. Like, I just don't think it just relying on whether or not the intentions hold up, or whether or not it was successfully successfully executed, or it failed, to be executed well. I just don't think intention is like enough.
I think we should probably wrap up at least on this point right here.
One more thing I want to say.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that, reason why I don't consider that like a valuable, a great point, is because the whole thing with that movie is every artist intends to make a movie, but they don't. The issue with that movie is he had the bare minimum of let's make a movie, but he never thought. There's more things he intended with writing this. Like, he intended certain things to mean something, certain this, certain that. But since he didn't care about the movie, he was lazy. He put it together in the most sloppy way possible. Yeah, like, he proved in that bet that he could make a movie. But when he wrote that movie, he didn't actually think about how he could do it. He didn't think about making it coherent. He didn't think about, like, conveying anything. Everything, like, of course, again, the intention thing kind of only goes like so far, because essentially it's the foundation, nothing else. Like, every person intends to make a horror movie. Every person who makes a horror movie is intending to make something. Like, for example, the characters in Godzilla X Kong New Empire, they had an intention. Their intention was to set up a bit of a drama around everything. But why does that intention fail? Because it's rushed through, it is skimmed through, there is no beats to actually give everyone chemistry. A lot of the time when they're on, they speak in very practical dialogue instead of actually adding to the characters. They're just there to tell us anything. Like, the issue is, that falls under what I'd say, that when you criticize that movie, you're not missing the point. What you're criticizing is being lazy. That director was lazy. He didn't actually think anything through. He won the bet, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess one last thing I want to put out before, like, my final thing before we sort of move on. Like, you're pretty much like point about the whole about GXK about trying to set up like drama, but they just didn't care about doing it well. In fact, they just sort of rushed it. Like, that if anything just sort of reinforces what I'm just saying. What I'm trying to say here. It's like, you can have the best intentions in the world about what your story is going to do, but if it still fails, it fails. Like, I don't know what else, what I can say. Maybe the intention could at least inform, like, whether you cared or not, or whether or not there was like some kind of purpose to why you tried to do what it is that you do. But it doesn't make the project any. But the intention doesn't really reflect that a whole heck of a lot.
No, I agree with that. I think you're misunderstanding where I'm coming from. Do you think? Can I ask you this before we wrap this up? Do you think I'm saying? Did you take what I was saying as the intention itself, rather is what makes something good or bad? I guess I was just kind of like wondering if that's. I guess at that point I'm wondering if that's what it is. No. The intention, what I'm saying, is like the foundation of your judgment. Like, knowing the intention gives you context on what checklist to judge something on.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Can we agree on that? At least to some extent.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Somewhat to agree. I can agree to an extent. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I gotta go, guys. I hope I didn't come off as hostile with the debate. I was like trying to like.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No, you're fine, man. It makes things more interesting.
Exactly.
Sorry for not adding anything.
Well, you also just got on, and since I know Joey is leaving, we're bringing Kuro back.
My name is Kuro, motherfucker. Open the goddamn door.
You've been having way too much fun with that video.
There is so many variations of it that I need to download for the stream.
It has been killing me.
Zim, Zim, don't just pick one and run with it, because if you download more than one, you're just going to replace your entire video, your entire like clip catalog with that video.
Mm-hmm. No, Zim, don't listen to Minecraft. Replace all of them. It is now all the real life Reddit Chud Jack.
Part of me really wants to make an 05 version just for the stream.
Yes.
Zim, didn't you say you still have like a subscription to like an AI voice thing?
No, not anymore. I haven't had that subscription in some time.
I was gonna say use that and make 05's voice over that video.
No. Like as a joke, that's funny, but it's kind of mean.
That would be
We're talking about
mean.
doing that on a community stream.
Listen, okay, that roach deserves that.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
if you're
which,
listening, if you happen to listen, you're a roach.
I guess, like, since we're on the topic of
let's
it,
talk about roachers.
Where is that level? I think for every single one of y'all, when you feel it is acceptable to sort of run the like digital fade with someone, where it is this kind of on-site kind of response. Because I think like some people will be like, "Man, you're being so hostile. Man, you're being so toxic," but then not realize like the history some people will have with one another. So, like, I guess we can go from me down to C. So we'll have Minecraft, Vic, obviously Vic being like the most passive out of all of us, and then down to C.
Does Vic even like not like anyone?
No,
I don't
Vic's
think Vic
default-
has any beef with anyone.
It's like it's all right.
People have beef with me, man. That's my whole thing.
No, you're just like it's just like the one meme of the ape and the lion where Vic is just the ape watching everyone scream at him, and he's like he doesn't actively hate it.
The Vic does not concern himself with the opinion of the Zim.
The Vic flies anyway because he doesn't care what Zim
The
thinks.
Vic enjoys the 98 anyways because he does not care what the Zimastanis think.
Is impossible.
As well as the $2 from JDFEA. Thank you. Howdy. And someone I know, I need to respond to a lot of their comments because they left a few. Leader of the Lost Souls. I enjoyed the last stream you had, even if I missed it. Hey, I appreciate it, man. And you gave like a lot of responses that I do want to get to. So I appreciate a lot of the contribution that you gave on that, as well as Machine Dragon Slayer. Good morning.
Hey-o.
But yeah, if you guys have a topic, like a specific topic that you really want us to focus on for like an hour or some odd, definitely leave it as like super chat. It doesn't need to be a specific amount. Just leave it and we'll like dedicate like time to it.
Money. Because I have my own topic I want to talk to. I know Kuru has his, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, kind of off topic, but Smiling Friends ends tonight.
Really?
Oh
yeah. I mean, I've
Honestly,
only seen clips of that show, but every clip I've seen is pretty damn funny.
No, like
I mean, at least they're gonna go out on a high note.
Yeah, no, it's like it's not running itself into the ground. It's of active choice. So
it's not trudging through like a zombie either. So at least
Cool.
All I ask is Warner Brothers give us season 2 and 3 on Blu-ray, please.
Nico, we are so fucked.
Do you realize?
Do you realize that if we lose this channel, we have to leave our office and then we'd have to move out of it?
Do you have any idea? I used forest elf labor.
I built this building 30 years ago using cheap labor from the Enchanted Forest. This building is a fucking mess. It violates every code in the books.
This changes the perspective of everything. We have to take this to our graves.
Dude, we have to take the earth is flat. The earth is flat. Dude, we have to take this to our grave.
It's cyanide, Pim. I need you to take it. Take the goddamn pill, Pim.
Got it.
Again, yeah, get back on topic.
Back on topic. Smiling Friends is fun, but yeah.
3 minutes of Smiling Friends. Don't you love it?
It's perfect. But yeah. Zim, start.
No, I'll go last.
Okay. I guess for me, it's either stubbornness or smugness. Because I talked about Anthony Gramulli and Adam Does Movies. Both of them are very different kinds of reviewers, but both of them are simultaneously smug, arrogant, and like uncompromising in terms of their position, to the point where it actively hampers any discussion they may be able to bring. In a similar way to 05. However, with 05, it also got to a personal level. Kuru, I think you're going to touch on that. But with 05, it was a stubborn uncompromisation. It was also dramaticism, and it was just being a fucking dick to a degree that I couldn't take it anymore. Especially considering I've dealt with similar people. It's never fun. This kind of shit is never fun. I've had my fair share of encounters across all manner of platforms, most of them in the death battle community. Like, yeah, they're bad apples, but that still doesn't, they're few and far between, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that, oh, you're still a bad apple, you should still be gotten rid of.
And then I guess for me, like, what was the original question again?
It's sort of like, when is there a level of interaction that you feel like at this point you kind of have to run the digital ones with someone and be more overtly aggressive with them, which in some cases people will consider toxic, quote unquote?
Well, for me, honestly, in my experience, it's just when you get to a level of where you're starting to become more personal than you have to, or it starts to have an effect on, say, someone's mental health to a degree, because I will never proactively seek out beef with anyone, because at the end of the day, we're all talking about movies, we're talking about fictional things, and I don't think we have to get personal with anyone unless someone else crosses that line. Then I think we're at a point where it has become too toxic, because now we're going after things either we can't control, or maybe we're misunderstanding perspectives. But because people will get on my case all the time about things I'll show a picture of my Godzilla 98 tattoo, and someone has messaged me saying, get that disgraceful thing off your skin right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, buddy, calm down, it's just a drawing. And it's
I'm sorry,
at that
but you
point,
literally just said, calm down, son. It's just a drawing.
Yeah.
There's no way
it is.
All right, Zim, you know what you need to do? Just draw that shit.
No, what's it called? I have to
Calm down.
Kuru.
No.
I have to do the angry thing. Get this drawing off of you! Get that disgusting thing off you now!
But yeah, I get stuff like that, and I think once someone crosses that boundary, okay, okay, buddy, obviously something is going on here. And that's my perspective on it, once personal moral boundaries are crossed, all in on this guy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Next person.
Would that be me or C?
I think how it's ordered. So next row of people.
So I think C, it's your go.
Oh, okay. All right, I guess I may as well go. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole heck of a lot that's to break the mold, essentially, in terms of compared to what Nick and Minecraft World have said. I mean, I myself don't generally engage in drama all that much, essentially. I mean, there was obviously that stint, regarding Mr. Who, if you will. that was that back and forth on Twitter. But other than that, in general, when it comes to the Roacher stuff, I mean, I pretty much would see that, and I just kind of am I pretty much understand the perspective that people would have to want to go after them, and I'll just be and I'll just kind of be back there just going, whatever. I got more important shit to do. Let these guys can have let someone else have these.
You know what? Fair enough. See.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's my turn then.
Yes.
Well, with me, I generally don't like getting into conflict and all, not only because it's tiring and stuff. No, I just want you just want to vibe, I just want to vibe, share heart, just get all good vibes. However, in certain cases, wrapping around to all five again is where he's just constantly being an annoying little rat by just trying to pit objectively try to piss people off or be condescending like Xenodrome or like other people that I've like encountered in the past, like that's where I take issue. Like, bro, why are you trying to harsh the vibe? I'm just like minding my own business. Like, especially if I like say something off topic, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, like it's just something I'm like occasionally I've been like trying to like back off. Like there are some things where I like know when to like back off and not like escalate, but then there are just times where like, you know what, screw it. Might as well get engaged, you know? Like it's not smart, but like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Sometimes you just gotta run the ones.
Exactly.
Yes, sometimes you gotta take the piss. Sometimes you just gotta take the piss.
Bring your bitch ass outside! I want the ones!
Literally.
And then
Sometimes you just
proceeds
gotta
to
be
ring the
creative.
door, or proceeds to ring the bell like that guy.
The doorbell of infinite rage.
The doorbell of infinite rage and
rage.
suffering.
Anyways, crew, your turn.
Okay. For me, I've got a few things that will immediately put a person on my shit list. I say this as someone who has had a lot of people hate my guts for no reason. And part of that may be because I am a bit of a shit starter. For me, though, it's all in good fun. I just do that stuff to get people in that kind of fun anger where they're just like, shut up! They just scurry away like a little rat, giggling like a goblin. They're just like, you did not! But it's when you start crossing a line into being incredibly smug when I am trying to have a conversation and you butt in with snarky remarks all the time, specifically in regards to discussing certain movies, and someone decides to, specifically in regards, I have had many run-ins with anime trilogy fans, or as I like to call them, copium huffers. And a lot of them, especially one in particular, would be insufferably smug anytime Planet Eater was mentioned. For context, this person thought this bile was better than -1. And
Well, they're just objectively wrong.
they are.
That's a
But-
blight.
It's like, it gets to a point where I'm just like, what are you contributing to this conversation? Why are you here? Genuinely, what are you doing here? If your only purpose here, if you live such a sad, lonesome, empty life that you need to spend your free time trying to get butt in on a conversation that did not involve you just to say some stuff like that, do us all a favor and go apologize to the tree outside. And that's one thing. And that you see that a lot with O5 and other people in various other servers. I might have mentioned some by name in like Confidence. Zim, you can't just send that to me. Zim, you can't just send that to me.
I sent it to you already.
What did you send?
Sent me something in DMs like 10 minutes ago, and I'm just now looking at it.
Oh, fuck.
But the other thing is when you start crossing the line and you talking shit about people in my personal life, like making fun of my actual friends, people who have been with me through hell and back, people you don't know a single thing about, don't know the reasons why they are the way they are, and you just make blind assertions like you know a single fucking thing about their character, I will actually, like, put my boot to your esophagus, and I'm going to make your head divorce from your body.
He's gonna have to ring the bell.
Yeah, I'm gonna ring the bell of infinite rage and anger.
And then shove that bell where the sun don't shine.
Shove that bell so far up their own ass, and you will like it, you good little bitch boy. See, that's kind of my thing. Those are like my two things where if you do either of those, you're kind of immediately on my shit list. Twice so if you do both, which a good chunk of these people do. And yeah, that's my stance on it.
Yeah, I guess like for me,
and then when
the
you
main
also
thing-
like try to, I don't know, just one other thing, when you try to implicate me as liking kids,
Yeah,
I'm never getting over that. I'm never getting over that.
No, yeah, that was like that's what I said by
Joke or
making
not,
it personal.
joke or not, I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that was-
there's definitely like to add to that just specifically before I get into like my thoughts in like totality. There's like certain jokes that are always gonna cross a line depending on like who you are as a person and like the relationship you have with someone. Like I think everyone, especially on the internet nowadays, is far too familiar with strangers or like people that you may like talk to here and there. You may not know them as well as you think you do, or you aren't as like buddy with them as you think they are. But
Yeah.
I think generally too, the other thing is that when it comes to like discourse online, unless you are making a conversation like invite only or only certain people can respond, then everyone is within their rights to respond to what it is that you are going to say. And whether you and like you have to accept that, I think ultimately, unless like someone like actually bypasses what is being like the barriers you've set up to limit a conversation, then like you're gonna have people respond. I think there's also a level of cordiality that should be expected. Like I personally like I will in most cases just want to have a conversation or have like a discussion. That is like just how I generally am. I also generally like am a more combative person naturally. I don't mind running the ones for like any reason. But I think too, like when like discussions become a bit more heated, people take that incredibly personally. And I think that also just tying back to the fact that like with fandoms, people don't really come to fandoms for like like serious discourse. I think people usually just go to fandoms because they want to have fun, and when things get a little too serious or they stop having fun, which is like a nebulous concept to begin with, and someone's level of fun is never going to be a standardized thing. I think that's like a big problem, is that people come to fandoms for fun, and what fun means is not exactly the same for everyone else. So there's going to naturally just be conflict.
Yeah. Also, Joe Smo's in the live chat.
Joe's Smo's in private. Wait, he's in live or private?
Live.
Okay. I will say hi to a little bit. Unfortunately, I cannot see chat at the moment just because I'm doing some matches.
Giga bashing it.
He's gigging. He's bashed.
I'm bashing it.
Other things that I will just.
He's
there's
bashing
some
his
other
Giga.
things that I find like more annoying, but like those are the things that get you like instantly on my shit list. I think your assertion is fair in regards to like kind of, since I felt like the first part of what you said was kind of responds a bit to how I feel in regards to people just interjecting into conversations with snide remarks. But my thing is like,
I think like,
I
well,
would say that goes beyond an acceptable level of like cordiality. At least maybe that's myself, but like,
no, well, I think like if you're just gonna do if two people are discussing something on like Discord and then you have a third party come in and like act smug or be snide about it, then immediately you are setting things up to be more hostile. And if the other person doesn't mind a more hostile environment, I guess more power to them. But if they get upset that you are now more hostile, they set the mood for that entire interaction. They should be the last person to be complaining about like how people are reacting to one another.
Yeah, and there's a difference between like,
and I think
there's a difference between like
bothers me. Sorry.
One sec. There's a difference between entertaining hostility and actual hostility. So, like, with debates, I know we often hype them up as, like, actual versus matches or, like, fights to the death and blah, 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 blah. But that's all in the fun. Yes, we can be hostile, but we're doing it in a way that it's actively entertaining and it's actively, like, showcasing that we give a shit. Versus something like what O5 did during the Kaiju Reiwa stream, where it was early on, where it was interjecting with like needless platitudes about
Speak of the devil, look who it is in the chat. Speak of the goddamn.
Look who finally showed up, bro.
Well, I think like another thing too is
Where
that
is
like
he?
with debates and things like that, I like doing debates because I like discourse and I like discussing things. I think in a lot of cases people don't actually want to debate. What they want to do is essentially have their thoughts validated through the process of proving someone else wrong.
Mhm.
Like I don't mind if my mind's changed on something, and I like welcome hearing someone else's thoughts in regards to something. But when you clearly understand like what someone's intention is in regards to where they want to go with a conversation, that's where it can be overall pretty like annoying, I'd say.
I think when it comes to me is I'm kind of in the same, like, I enjoy discussing these. I mean, that's why I became a more active member, was because I want to talk about these movies and these shows and these comics.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but to me, people like the person I mentioned who was just being smug actively go against that because they generate a more hostile atmosphere just to like feed their own ego, whether or not they are within their right to do that as being on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my problem begins to arise, because you do nothing but to an extent genuinely become part of the problem.
I've had a similar issue with that. Not with the Godzilla fandom, but in the Death Battle fandom. I remember I was talking with several people about like different mythology matchups, pitting two mythological characters against each other. And one person actively ruined the discussion multiple times over, to the point where that chat was completely dead because of that person. Because with mythology and culture, you have this kind of reverence that a lot of other pop culture spheres don't have, but it's that blatant disregard. That person did not give a shit about what these things actually are. And so that ruined a lot of the discussion behind this, to the point where I never want Death Battle to touch mythology ever again. I would be fine with specific versions of mythological characters like Disney's Hades, but do not touch like Zeus versus Odin or something. It's because of that kind of discussion, that lack of reverence, that actively ruined discussing these kinds of ideas.
Wait, you mean like a death battle between like the actual gods?
Yeah.
Oh.
They've done that before with like Hercules versus Sun Wukong.
Yeah, and the person I believe who made that mythology discussion chat, he was not a fan of the episode, partially because he's Buddhist, and Wukong is a symbol of Buddhism. So, I think, if I remember correctly.
At that point, I was just like, don't. I was like,
but like, because like with non-actively worship,
that one though.
Wukong won that, but that's still like it power scaling a figure who is actively worshipped was something that rubbed him the wrong way. Whereas like Zeus versus Odin, I know there are people who I believe worship the Norse myths, but I know one person who did was fine with the concept.
I guess he shouldn't look into that one fighting game where literally gods fight each other.
Smite.
Wait, you know?
No,
what I'm talking about?
Smite is a specific version of these things. Like that's one that all of us kind of agreed, because that's a specific version. So it's like specifically.
So what you mean is like basically fictional versions of the gods are okay?
Yeah, like Disney's take on Hades, or Percy Jackson's take on like, or Percy Jackson's take on Kronos, etc., etc. That's kind of like what we all agreed on. But yeah, that is it's a different example, but it's one of the closest ones that came to mind with what I believe you were getting at, Kuru.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was talking about. There's also like, this is like a personal thing, and I don't take this as seriously, but like when you start trying to educate me, I'm like, I'm
mansplaining.
This will go into my topic. But I think we're kind of done with what we all kind of could put on our shit list. So I guess we'll segue into personal topics now.
Yeah.
Here we go. Strap in.
Everyone here knows my opinion of Shin Godzilla.
Correct.
It is
Yeah.
the film I am like known for. The debate with Joey is coming. When? I don't know. Will I win? Yes.
And it'll still come out before GTA 6.
But, bro, I don't know at this point. But for literally years, before I even started seriously, like, originally this was actually what I'm about to talk about was going to be a section in the Shin Godzilla video I'm going to be making, which is going to go over my problems with the film and serve as a kind of precursor to the debate. But I decided to cut it from that script, mostly for brevity's sake, and also realistically, I don't know how much good it's going to do, because the people who will do it, who were going to do that in the comments of that video, are going to do it anyways, regardless of whether or not I talk about this stuff. So really, I'd just be wasting my time putting it into that video and editing it. It'd just be a waste of my time. When I can do that when, I don't know, making scripts for another video or doing my job. So it's like, that's why I'm talking about it here. And that is Shin Godzilla and the nature of sacred cows in fandom. Especially with Shin Godzilla, I have gotten endless amounts of flack for my opinion of this film for years, genuinely considering it one of the worst in the series. Not bad, but down there. It's not a good film. It has many misplaced priorities in its writing when it comes to the second half. It focuses unnecessarily on certain aspects, completely assassinates Godzilla's character, and gives him unnecessary powers that generate plot holes in its climax. Multiple, not just the radar. His regeneration completely breaks the climax as well.
Well, yeah,
So-
too. Yes.
I mean, but
To
still,
say that,
Drew,
like-
you have to understand it was part of.
Nico, I swear to God, I'm gonna gouge out
Do
your
not invoke.
Dude, he's already in the chat.
Yeah, he's already here. Hey, get out of here, you roach.
But
Nah.
it's like,
Nah, you can stay for now. You're part of
But
this
it's like-
community.
We have the raid ready,
when
though.
it comes to
Yeah, we have the raid ready. We have the raid.
And
up
to
and ready.
say that I have gotten a lot of crap from this, joke or not, is an understatement. I have been on more than one occasion just straight up called actual slurs over my dislike of this film. People have dogpiled me over it. Even before I actively started being able to properly quantify what my problems are and what I think are actual issues. And it grew for a while. I grew to genuinely resent the film. But a common thing I heard was, "You don't get it," or "That's the point." And I'm just like, brother. And like, I see this even now. People just assuming I watched the film once. And I'm like, on one hand, I suppose that is a fair assertion, but because you don't know how many times I've seen the film. But at the same time, it bothers me.
Keep talking. I'm
specifically
just gonna be right back and grab
because-
something.
because I have like seen this film like 15 fucking times in the last 2 years for multiple different reasons, to study it for reviews, refreshing myself on the film just as a marathon for completion's sake, showing it to friends, researching it for debates, multiple versions of the same film, in fact, multiple times over in a single day, having written multiple different reviews on it. It grows incredibly tiring, the toxic positivity around Shin Godzilla, and it's why I don't really, and yeah, I'm very over it. And I think it's an example of like, you can't discuss a sacred cow in communities unless your opinion falls in the mainstream. Otherwise, you just get called every fucking slur under the sun.
Yeah. No, like I can attest to that. Not with Shin Godzilla, but with Kaiju. Kaiju is a movie where, like, I've said my piece on it. It was my favorite film ever made, and then I dropped that because the discourse just got too much. It got to the point where I have actively started getting annoyed whenever I talk about this one freaking movie where I like where every time every time I bring it up and say, "Oh, I like this movie. I think this is my favorite film ever made," or "This is a film that inspires me," or something, people just start saying, "You need to watch more movies. You need to watch real movies," etc., etc., or people start bringing up the pro-nuke shit or whatever the hell it is, and it's just like the debates were ultimately what settled it, and then the debates were what leading into it, and then I got so heated to the point where I crossed a moral bound. Maybe that's not the same, but it's like it's.
I guess
sort of,
really quick to interject, I think that's a perfect example as to why, like, the whole idea that people talk about toxicity in fandom, why people get so angry about these things, is that none of this is ever in like a vacuum. You're probably going to be talking to someone who's dealt with the same like topics over and over again. And because like we all don't live online, you're probably going to come across that person on one of their poorer days and they're going to lash out, and you're going to assume that they're being toxic when in reality it is just frustration from seeing the same things built up over and over again. And I think it like there's a certain kind of person that is able to wade through that. And I don't think that's most people. I think most people are not able to deal with that.
You said it yourself.
I think
people aren't built for the 24/7 discourse that comes with being on the internet.
Exactly.
I would like to
and he also is joining. Let me bring on Lau.
Hi, Lau.
Hey.
I was gonna say, as someone who's definitely been down in the trenches before for, God forbid, actually liking the Jurassic sequels. I've been down this road before.
Yeah, the day I decided I was done talking about Kaiju, the day I overstepped those bounds, both me and the person I was arguing with, we were not in a good mood. Like, it got to the point where we were both heated, and we just had to take a minute to calm down. And both of us, we eventually cleared everything up. We both apologized. And that got over that. But it's like, it's that kind of thing is something that we all need to take into account in these discussions. It just not again, it's the age gap, it's experience, it's personality, it's like it's also
autism, like the different levels of it.
Not even just autism, but like mental illness generally. What kind of things are you going through? Like we boil everything down to autism, but not all of us are. But it's not just autism. I have ADHD myself, so that also affects a lot of my viewpoints.
Like, I would say, like, it may not just some of it can be attributed to tism, but I think, like, even if you are the tismiest tism to ever tism, with some tism with a bit of hi on the side, if you're having the same conversations over and over again, and you're just kind of running into the same results, it's just going to frustrate you whether you have the tism or not. Like, I don't mind debating like the same talking points when it comes to 98 over and over again, because I know for a fact not everyone has heard my responses, and like I view it as every debate is going to be someone's first, or like every risk, like all of that. And I think like it helps because I can detach from it in a way where I don't take it a certain way that I've heard these points over and over again, because it reinforces in my mind that if I cared about these points, I will continue to raise them as people like this continue to raise opposing points. And Lau left, it might be a connection issue, but
I think
JDF
something
has to
I've-
come on, so we'll bring him on
something
as
I've
well.
been trying to work on myself because, admittedly, as time has gone on and I've been more picky and a bit more particular with who I do and don't talk to, I've run into people who actually haven't heard these takes on Shin Godzilla. So much to the point of, and I don't know if this is an appeal to authority, getting the opportunity to genuinely discuss Shin Godzilla with Japanese Godzilla fans, providing a very interesting perspective both for themselves on my review and what they think about it. And let me tell you, it is so fucking vindicating to hear someone like that who dealt with that disaster tell you you have a point. Do you have any idea how vindicating that felt?
But speaking to that point as well about like Japanese fans, well, like that's another big thing too. And like we mentioned earlier about like you're dealing with so much cross-cultural boundaries with people talking from all over the globe. There's going to be like large contingents of people who are just not going to agree with you because how they're raised and how they like come to certain ideas and concepts is going to be literally foreign to them.
Yeah, it's like I said, all of us are coming in with different mindsets, whether it be political ideologies, religious ideologies, or just straight up life experiences. I am not like Vic and 05, even though both of you live in the LA area, have not gone through the same life experiences.
Well, that's because one of them isn't a miscreant.
I stabbed someone once.
You
What?
What? Well, that's my point.
Exactly.
I almost bit someone's finger off.
I love
I
how
punched my
what's it
friend
called?
once.
On Zimcast, Lau admits to crime.
I was born with a heart condition.
I was
But
just
like
I mean, it was an accident, but it
most
wasn't
of
the
us-
eye.
I'm sorry,
sure.
accident. Shink, shink, shink. Why are you?
The difference between me and Lau is that I know for a fact mine wasn't an accident.
Were you drunk though? Were you sober?
Nope, I was sober. I wanted to make sure I knew for a fact. I knew what I
Okay.
was doing.
Oh.
I think I was like
And I
seven.
liked it.
You liked it.
I was like 7
but
years
yeah.
old.
I know, like the Punisher thing. Hell, I loved it.
But yeah, like
I'm itching to do it again.
But like 7 out of 8 of us in the chat are American, or at least live in the United States and have gone on stage, have lived in the United States, and each one of us have lived through different experiences and different like portions. Even if we're in the same general region, even
Okay,
if some
I
of us
know
are in
what
the same
you're saying.
general region.
So you're saying that because I'm Latin American, that's why I stabbed someone. That's very racist of you. Zimcast.
yeah, my
Well, what's it called? I know for. Wait.
Wow. My cousin from Colombia has done it too. Well,
Well-
not stabbed, but like hurt someone in a similar manner.
So
This is
wait, no.
not-
So here's the thing. If me and Lau ever have a knife fight, I just know for a fact if he gets the upper hand, I could be like, Goku would be sad if he did this, and I'll win. Because I could just be like,
No, but you are the Mexican. I'm Argentinian. I don't care. And also,
He's
I
not
didn't
even
use a
Mexican.
knife. What? I didn't use a knife. I used a shark from Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest, that came in the toy set that was with the fat guy.
Oh my fucking life!
You just
I stabbed someone.
he hit him with
in
the part of the crew, part of the ship kind of beat.
Brilliant.
Bro, Lau watched Jaws and loved it a little too much. Oh my!
I also know
And I
Lau,
was like
mentioned it
7
earlier.
years old.
You
Yeah.
need to like stop
Bruh.
dropping insane lore. First, you admit to like your aunt trying to murder you. You find a Nazi bunker, and now
Wait, what?
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 When did this happen?
the open mic night.
No,
Oh,
I barely
guys,
remember that. Oh my god.
He
Which
also
one?
speaks German.
Oh yeah, I
No.
heard him say German before.
I don't speak German. I just can sing specifically Cyberite, which is "Be Prepared" from The Lion King in German. That's the one song I always sing in German.
Yeah, the one where the
And-
hyenas
Impressive.
march like that. Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
god!
It was inspired by Triumph of the Will.
I am
The
Argentinian.
Lao lore goes deep, fellas. The
Oh.
Lao lore goes deep.
Topic. Going back on topic, I know Lau put in
Okay.
private chat where he says Twitter sucks. Like, I guess we can all
I mean,
talk
yeah,
about
also
Twitter.
water's wet.
Yeah,
Actually,
water's
Yeah,
wet.
yeah, I'm
Twitter
not gonna-
sucks.
Not
same
gonna miss
before
me
we.
about that. Twitter is an absolute shithole.
It
Yeah.
is.
Again,
And, you know,
well,
as people like Rick having to go through shit like basically every day, and I honestly feel bad for him. But before we continue, Sim or anyone, I wasn't here for the first part. Could you please let me know if this was a reaction to a specific video or
No,
it
it's
came?
not.
No.
It's like
No.
a community.
No,
This
just
is
like
just a
a
discussion.
Okay, okay.
No. Also, Lau, you saw the news about Minus Zero's trailer?
What?
What?
It's coming.
No,
it's
no,
coming in 2 days. It's coming in 2 days.
The trailer.
Digging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days, fellas.
We're getting a teaser, which that could range anywhere from 30 seconds, but it's something. We're getting a look at the film.
Let's just
they're going
say
to-
I was right. Let's just say I was almost right.
We
All
both
right,
almost
all right,
right.
fellas, place your bets. Are we gonna see Mothra or are we gonna see Hedorah?
Don't 1 sec. When it drops, all of us react to it live on VC. Day
if
of.
we're not working.
I will react to it on my own. And not
I don't have to react to it on my own because I think it might be on my job.
All right, I'll be
I
reacting
will-
it live on. I'll be reacting to it live on
will
voice
be
chat and Zoom server.
hopping-
I should be able to watch it with you.
I should be
will-
watching it with you too.
Yeah.
I might be able to tag in. It is on a Thursday. I'll make it work.
Is it Thursday? Wait, no.
No,
is
it's
it-
on the 15th.
It's Wednesday.
No, wait. What?
Well, I'll still be working.
Japan
Oh,
time? Oh, wait,
25
Japan time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
right. It's like
Japan's
Wednesday
in
in
the
the
future.
morning.
Yeah.
So I might not even be like there for it. I mean, hang on. I'll have to check the.
Yeah,
actual-
apparently it premieres April 14th, not 15th. It looks like so Tuesday at 6:55 p.m.
We should all
Okay,
just
then
go
I
to
won't be
Access
able
Mundi.
to
That'd be
join
perfect.
PC for
moment.
that.
They're on that Access Mundi time.
I just realized I do work. I think at that time, but I do not care. Like I'm literally going to be like, I'm sorry, but like, I need this time. I do not care what I'm
This
doing.
is more pressing.
This is more important.
Yeah.
This is like okay. It will be like almost 4 when in my time when I will hang on. Let me just check real quick. Oh my god, Discord, please. It's not behaving. I'll figure it out. Anyways, but no, this was kind of just like a just talk about the community since Zim, you've done streams, solo ones, talking and making response to like other
Community
people talking about
videos,
the
yeah.
community, but this is like the first time we've done it
Ourselves.
with ourselves and our own experiences, and frankly, I think this was a long time coming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, I
like-
think we should do these more often.
Yeah, because obviously
Yeah,
the
this might
Zimcast.
become a more common thing.
Yeah, because obviously the Zimcast isn't like flawless. We've all, as Joey said earlier, all of us have had our stupid takes.
You tend to fly off the handle way too easily.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just afraid to dream, JDF.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't be the one who always has to dream a lot. Coming from you.
You're the anchor that grounds us. Everyone else. Everyone else
he's
has
the
their head in the
coward
cloud.
who was broken.
Context. Kuru and I had the idea of like if Minasu ends with a trilogy and the MonsterVerse ends soon, it ends with Minasu having Griffin and MonsterVerse having Baggin. And JDF shot that idea down very quickly.
Because it's not going to happen. You're
Well, what if
wishing for
it does,
something.
JDF?
You're
What if
wishing
it
for
does?
something that's not going to
Okay,
happen
but
in the
that would
first
be
place.
awesome.
Okay, Mr. Killjoy, Mr. JDF. VA,
Okay, but Zim,
To be fair, guys, if we are going to be realistic, this is one of the problems with the franchise, with the fandom. Sorry, a lot of fans actually do come up with stuff that's never going to happen,
yeah.
and then you have the killjoys, quote unquote. But the thing is that some killjoys are really like rude about it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is actually like in a microcosm, like a super good example of one of the problems that we have, which is there's a lot of kids, and I'm not even saying that's an insult. It's just like a fact, There's a lot of kids that like maybe came up with some of these old movies, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to see Violante again. And clearly, like they don't understand, dude. Violante hasn't been a thing in like what 50 years or something like that. Like it's been a long.
The fact that Space Godzilla is happening at all is a miracle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's understandable that some people are new and they have like these huge expectations because they're kids and they don't understand that, the fact that you like this and you think it's cool doesn't mean that it's going to happen. They haven't been crushed by the reality of life yet.
Yeah.
And then you have the people that have, right? And some people might just say, hey, that's not going to happen. And then the kids react like fucking retards and are rude and they send threats. But also sometimes the people that say that's never going to happen are actually the rude ones, right? Like it all comes from like everyone's just so fucking tickly all the time. It's like a ticking bomb.
I
You
think
never know who you're dealing with.
something. Mike Tyson was right.
Like, no, like even speaking to your point, Lau, like I think like genuinely there's like people will be as rude as they can be for like no reason, and like. If you said that, if you were that rude to someone in real life, I'm sorry,
Especially
you're
in
probably
regards to
getting your shit
children.
pushed in. Especially
Yeah.
like some people like take it as like a badge of honor to like specifically try to hurt children, even like not physically, but at least like emotionally. Like it's in the sense like, oh, it's like fun to mess with a kid, but you're doing it in fun versus like I actually do take joy in the fact that these kids are getting upset. Is like really
All five,
weird.
don't start that shit again.
Oh my god!
I see what you're
Because it's
trying
like,
to do.
yeah,
Don't
no,
start it.
I think the whole mentality of fuck them kids is one of the most annoying things on the internet I've ever just seen, and you see it a lot.
Well,
Yeah,
it
it's not-
comes out.
yeah.
It comes from people who like are never going to have kids, see them as a burden, and for one reason or another, do everything in their power to let it be known that they hate kids. I don't know why.
Ignore, despite like it's like
The word
I think that's an inverse. I think that segues into another topic, which is like hypocrisy and mistreatment. And this continues on the Twitter discussion. The whole why the fuck are we dissing on the MonsterVerse originals again? After we advocated for
thing.
after we were advocating for saving Methuselah's life.
Oh, but
That's the thing.
This is why
we
Yeah,
were.
there's nothing
Wait,
wrong.
wait. Let Lau go.
Okay.
The thing is, for example, this is one of the problems. I'm not like blaming or putting it on your face. I'm just saying, a lot of people say we were this, we were that.
We
And
were
it's like-
kings.
We.
Yeah, exactly.
Who
Who's
is we?
Who's we? No, like to be
You
fair,
speak in
from my
French,
side,
you wanted to be you.
I never cared about Methuselah ever. So when you say we, you're talking about your like group people.
No,
that
but like
were in that.
the
No,
colloquial.
like I
yeah.
understand it. I understand, but the thing is, this is one of the things I see when people say we. We are talking about like a fandom that's so divided that's like who's we in this context, right?
Yeah, no, fair.
And then there's people that become grammar Nazis and say, well, who's we? Like you, and then they get rude about it, right? And then the thing deviates from the conversation that you were having to, whatever else. It's just like personal insults at that point. So it's like,
Yeah, it goes from
actually all comes.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
goes from the actual discourse to a meta discussion. And meta
Yeah.
discussion meaning a discussion about the discussion itself rather than the
Language.
actual
Yeah,
topic
it's
at
like-
hand.
Yeah, like it is frustrating because there is that writing potential, but also it's like, to me, both sides can come across as needlessly hypocritical. I know what I just said, but words come to me, but it's jarring to me to see how, like, I'm not saying bow to everything. We should be great. I'm not trying to pull a Blockswave here. But-
Yeah, I was about to get into that.
But
Oh shit! Yeah.
sometimes it just comes across as stupid when people don't really like actively try to understand why these things exist. Why
That's true.
Like, why can't Tiamat be Manda? Because why would you waste Manda? Why would you get the rights to Manda and waste him that quickly? Mothra played a substantial role in the film objectively. Tiamat didn't. Why would you waste the money to get the rights to Manda?
And to me, exactly, and that's what I was going to say. To me, it's not like don't waste Manda. To me, it's that Manda itself is just inherently a waste, because who cares?
Well, there's to counter your point, there's a good chance to like actually improve upon Manda.
Yeah.
Like, if the opportunity is given.
I know, but why would you ever do that if you can just have Tiamat, right?
Like,
and
if
you
Ti- I
just
mean, yeah,
make
but like,
Tiamat
I'm
really
saying,
good.
like,
Yeah, with Space Godzilla, it's fine because this is like an antagonist monster, one that we haven't exactly seen before. But with like Tiamat, it's a cameo. It's a cameo.
Exactly.
Well, I guess to play devil's advocate for last point, what I was saying is that like Manda as a concept wasn't done the best already, so it doesn't make sense economically to buy the rights from him, which are already going to be a pretty penny in and of itself, in order to use him pretty much in anything, which is a sentiment I don't necessarily share, and I think is more destructive to just fandoms in general. But like, I understand it to some degree. I'm not sure.
It's purely financial. I'm not saying that Manda has no value. I'm just saying that, he will be more of a waste of money than anything.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
exactly. And then you deviated to that part. So I was saying that. Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry about that, Lau.
I think
no, it's fine.
In many ways, they were also just hesitant to fork over the money for other Toho monsters after Cottom's failure. So I think, and we're seeing them test the waters again with Supernova. I'm saving this like we all know Space Godzilla's going to be in it, but like 90% chance he's going to be in it.
I mean, we saw the Writers Guild.
Yeah,
all of us did.
I mean, I made a whole video, about why him being in Supernova is a big deal, and what it means for the future if this film is successful, which I am putting my money on it being successful, regardless of quality. So, just to kind of give people an idea of what to expect from the future and what we can expect to see, and because we live in unprecedented times.
Yeah.
Should I like go next about whatever it is I want to discuss here? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I kind of made a post like earlier today, kind of like saying that I wasn't planning on doing a response vid on Blotswave's video about the Godzilla fandom, but I'm kind of deciding to reformat that because I think that there's like a broader discussion that could pretty much be had about like the Godzilla fandom, or even just fandoms in general, but using Godzilla fandom as like the example essentially for this particular video. Not that they're the exception really, but rather just because like they're just one of many examples of fandoms that, for all intents and purposes, like you do get pretty toxic in terms of toxic being overly negative. But also like in regards to Blotswave, I kind of just can't help but sort of consider the toxic positivity to pretty much be even more frustrating than negative, really, at this point, because the toxic positivity kind of lends to a big hypocrisy, if you will, in terms of like just stating that we should just let people enjoy things and just be grateful of what we have. When, if I'm going to be honest, there's more, like, even though we have a lot of Godzilla media now more than ever, at least in terms of movies and shows, animes, what have you. But I just have to be frank with you, there's more of those that are bad than there are good. We can obviously debate on which one of those are until the cows come home, but that's quite frankly. But ultimately, like when you pretty much have people just saying like Blotswave, kind of like sort of going around and saying, and other people, among other people, essentially just kind of poisoning the well in terms of discussion on the Godzilla franchise or Kaiju franchise in general by just saying that we should just be glad with what we have and just let people enjoy things, and that, oh, the versus movies, they don't need to be, all that amazing or anything, or all that special, really, in terms of the storytelling or what have you. They could just be fun, and we should all be happy for that. When that just, if anything, that just damages the potential for even something like this, like that kind of mindset, which we saw being perpetuated in the advent of GXK: The New Empire. It just puts Supernova in a very concerning place, because they'll probably just take that as whoever's making it, they probably were just may have been given notes, what have you, and saying, look, you guys don't need to come up with a really great story, really, at all. You don't have to even try all that hard. Just write up an excuse for Godzilla and Kong to fight Space Godzilla. And as long as the fans, as long as people go see it just for the monster action, that's all that matters.
And then you just have to leave it for up to the depths or up from the depths to say that it's about some deep thing.
And up from the depths only. Up from the depths is pretty much a more prominent example of these types of people that perpetuate this issue of toxic positivity, whether he realizes it or not. Than Blotswave, but needless to say, Blotswave is not helping Decay. Not helping, really. He's certainly part of the problem.
Like Lau says earlier, the whole idea of we as a community needs to stop, because fundamentally there is no we at all.
Right.
There is no consensus to pull from. I think that you can argue that, yes, large swaths of the community, I agree with this or agree with that, but homing in on those, seeing what is valuable to have those conversations in those instances, I think would help when it comes to discourse. But it is far too powerful for people to say we, the community, because it makes it appear as though there's some kind of consensus. And bringing in the last person for the evening, because they just joined, the Black Man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I want to finish up real quick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finish up safe.
Yeah, and to pretty much mention about the hypocrisy about just letting people like things, about in the Godzilla media or just any media in general. It doesn't just stop at Godzilla. Look no further than Star Wars or Marvel or DC, or name a franchise that has had even a substantial amount of popularity over the years, and you'll pretty much find it. You find this whole thing of shut up, let people like things, or oh, it's a movie about such and such, you're taking it way too seriously. It's just well, how about you just shut up and let people be concerned about things, or let people even dislike things? I don't know. If someone hates GXK: The New Empire because it's taking the MonsterVerse in a direction for the worse, then let them. We're not the ones telling you that you're not allowed to like it. You're the ones who are telling us that we should like it.
And the problem is, I think you're right, but there's also we need to acknowledge that there are people that are insulting others for liking it. And that's
no, I get that, but it's just even more infuriating.
It's not the majority.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess where I would say is the people who are just insulting people for disliking something, they're even more they're pretty much arguably just as, if not more, disingenuous.
Yeah, and I would say that they are still a minority, a minority of a minority of a minority, because let's not pretend Godzilla.
Yeah, but up to the depth. Yeah, but people up to the depths in Blotswave, they have these followings, and
they have a following. Yeah,
and that's why we need to the fact that they have that big enough of a following that enough people watch them and sort of absorb in their philosophies or what have you. There's got to be a counterbalance to that.
The problem is that it's hard, because what they're saying has broad appeal in the sense that it is easy for you to feel good about these things. It feels good to be well, the film is just really just fun. The whole concept of turn your brain off and have fun is such an easy idea to get behind, and it hides so many insidious implications that it takes a while for someone to explain why all those things are fun, because I think just in the world, people are far too obsessed with like making sure everything's comfortable and making sure that they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah,
Where
I mean,
it
there's
is
also just the fact that I would rather that some people out there would also try to like pull the mask off of that and just be like, you can still have fun with something and have it make sense, or would you actually have more fun with this if the plot was actually better written? Because like, let's be frank here, like if you're gonna say like, I like the movie because like I don't really care about the plot, it's like, would you have liked the movie more or less, or like that's like implying like you would like the movie less if the plot made more sense? Like, wouldn't you just like wouldn't someone like GXK: The New Empire more if the plot actually held up to scrutiny? Like, if
have
it
more
wasn't
people
written.
that like it. In fact, that actually produces a lot more appeal because suddenly the plot is actually rewarding you for using your brain instead of punishing you for it, and people
Exactly, pretty
generally
much.
tend to like that.
Yeah, like there's been stories over time that have been immensely successful, and they didn't have to resort to just being sludge on paper just to appeal to to get the broad enough appeal to get like the legacies that they to have such a good legacy.
What was his name? The name of the guy you were mentioning, Bob Wave or something like that. Okay, I will call him Wave, just for simplification. But he made a point in his video which was very hypocritical. I don't even know if he realizes how much he was like basically talking about his own side. Because the thing is, when you have people that love something unconditionally, like it's just cause and effect, and I'm not saying that it should be like this, but it's just going to be like this. This is how everything works. If you have people blindly loving something, you will have people that blindly hate it because of that blind love, right? Like people that criticize more harshly, people that like have less of a tolerance for bullshit, just because they see everywhere that people just like act like little kids. Basically, they just accept everything at face value and don't ever think about it. So like, if you are like that, you are just like calling for people to exist who are going to be the complete opposite, just out of rebellion for your way of being, right? Like that's just a thing that happens.
Yeah, and it's just really unfortunate that came from. Yeah, I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was done.
Okay, yeah, and it's just kind of a shame too that also came from Wave, who has made some decent videos in the past. Like
I said it at the start of the stream. That guy, he was the guy who put the nail in the coffin on Dr. Skipper's video, because he pointed out a lot of the problems with like the thought processes and structures of the video. What the video itself was saying was inherently hypocritical and inherently like it missed a lot of details or just misrepresented a lot of details that really would have destroyed the argument.
And the fact that in the same fandom video, he even goes on to say like he felt a little bit bad about parts of the Dr. Skipper video, like almost like seemed like maybe not so much like backtracking on specific points, but maybe just sort of backtracking on parts of his approach. It's just like it's like that's just that's kind of that's like really a shame.
That rubbed me the wrong way, because he had every right to be as vitriolic with that video as he was. Pretty much everyone.
I don't think that's a bad thing, guys, because like what he's saying is that he did the easy thing. He wishes he had been more professional, which is like ironic coming from someone that's literally saying, "Hey, consume product, shut up and eat slop."
Yeah, that's the other thing that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, that's fine, but yeah. Also, hi, Bernie.
Yeah, I've been sitting here. I was gonna make a Lord of the Rings joke, but Zim, you cut me off. You didn't have to cut me off. A Rooney is never late or early. He arrives precisely when he's needed.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Also,
we
I
need a
just
black
wanted to
man in
add
our lives.
to what you said, C, about like intelligent storytellings. That's part of why films like Project Hail Mary and Iron Lung were so like well liked, because both films, like, they did not mince words when it comes to like everything that was going on. They both trusted the audiences to follow along with the story and engage with it without having to like spoon feed or dumb it down.
Yeah, it didn't have to be. Yeah, Project Hail Mary didn't need to be slop in order to be well appreciated by the masses.
Yeah,
I'm
I
probably
went to
gonna
watch
watch
it.
that.
I went to watch it yesterday. It was, mwah,
I'm probably
And
gonna
then
go
you
see
have-
it. I'm probably gonna go see it on Friday.
And then you have the opposite side of the spectrum with shit like God Raiga versus King Olga, which is
Yeah, films
legitimately
that-
slop.
films
Daredevil
that
Born Again season 2.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
War
no,
of the
no.
Worlds.
Rooney, listen to me.
Rudy, let me
Would
tell you
not
this something
survi-
right now.
Rooney, you would not survive Raiga versus Oga. That would actually kill you.
That will actually make you apologize to Daredevil, even though I don't really know anything about the show.
Born Again.
But, like, I'm
watch
pretty-
seasons 1, 2, and 3. Don't watch Born Again. That's basically what
I
should say.
listen. I think I'll be fine. I watched Monarch and Monarch season 2.
No, Rooney.
No,
Rooney,
this is
let me
not
tell you
Monarch.
straight
This
up.
is not. No, Rooney. What is the
You are
worst?
not ready.
What is the worst kaiju film that you have ever seen?
GVK.
Final Wars.
This is worse.
Now shut
This is
up.
worse
Shut
than
up.
that in every
I'm gonna
possible
shut you guys
way.
right now. Raiga versus Olga will make you want to apologize to GVK.
I'm actually
Like,
gonna
full
send you a
stop. Like
screenshot
full
of the film.
Like, it'll make you like apologize.
I'll
Like,
send you.
straight up.
I'm gonna DM you a screenshot of the film, Rooney. Let me
Alright.
just find it. Let me just find.
If
And
it
also,
helps
you don't
in
get
any
to
way.
talk. You don't get to talk because Raiga versus Olga's it's just straight up bad. It is
It's
bad.
bad.
It's a
It's
good thing I
bad. It's
avoided
bad.
that one.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I had
The thing is,
I had the
in a
discussion
way,
earlier
what-
today. If you want to see it, go see it. But yeah, it is.
The thing is, in a way, I already apologized. Remember when I watched all of Heisei? Well, most of
Lau,
Heisei, and then I said we shouldn't have been so mean to GXK.
We're not doing this again,
because
Lau.
Heisei was
No, shut up.
We're derailing.
We're gonna have to do it eventually.
Lau, enough.
We're derailing.
We're gonna have to do it eventually. But anyway, Zim, I wanted to ask you specifically,
What's up?
because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been watching the stream. Me and Lau were busy, having a hot makeout session. But what do you?
I know. I listened to some of it. It was pretty spicy. I didn't know you could take all of it like that, Black.
Yeah, what the hell were you
What?
saying about 54?
Literally, like nothing too terrible, to be honest.
Knowing
It was-
knowing you, that is a broad spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, Lau, I don't need to alarm you, but Gandhi 2005 is saying that he'll get you for disrespecting Heisei.
I don't care. He's
Gandhi
joking.
2005.
like I literally said hi to him the other day. Like he doesn't really mind. We don't have any
It's
problems with each
funny.
other.
It's funny the way he phrases it. Like, you know that that meme where it's like, if I saw Hero Brian in real life, I would call my friend Kevin. This is Kevin. 05 is Kevin.
No, don't insult Kevin like that.
No. He's
Also,
he's the real life Redditor that just got arrested the other day.
I saw
Also,
that.
I
That
just
was
need to
funny.
add. I just need to ask: did all of you guys watch Sea Monster's essay? Sea Monster's Megalon Street essay.
No.
Yes.
I
For
haven't
April
watched
Fools. Okay, it's
No.
beautiful.
Caius Confucius is such a wise man.
You owe it to yourselves to bear witness the gospel.
You need to
But-
witness Godzilla and Jet Jaguar fight against the evil forces of the Peruvians.
Nah,
But to
Anyway,
I guess
so,
to bring
Zim,
the Black Man up to speed, it's essentially just sort of
Yeah.
we've covered things sort of in regards to the general community makeup. How does someone sort of end up on like your shit list, and like when is a more forceful response necessary or justified in your eyes? And we sort of got on the topic of toxic positivity. Now we're more into like personal things we want to bring up in regards to the community.
Yeah.
well, if you want my experience with the Godzilla community, not as bad as the Sonic community. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh god.
I mean, that's a really low bar. Let's be
I
real.
know.
Oh yeah,
I know.
JDF doesn't have anything. Let him go after that. After you
Yeah.
finish.
So overall, like my experience with the fandom, I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't warranted because I did come out swinging at the fences. I do have a stream where I talk about this, but it's actually the first podcast, the first black screen episode post reboot. The thing about the Godzilla community I find really fascinating is that a lot of it I've noticed with a lot of fandoms, like whenever there's movies of like varying quality, there's always going to be, you know, varying levels of discussions. There's like higher discussion and then there's lower discussion, and usually you can tell who's who, based off of how they talk about the movie, based off of what they say, their argumentative styles, and the fallacies that they use or lack thereof, depending on like who you're talking to. Like there's some ubiquitous fallacies in a lot of fan bases, such as the post talk. You see it everywhere in Star Wars, Marvel, DC. Emotional appeals. There's like the usual fallacies that you'll encounter, which is usually part of their, you know, dialectics and their rhetoric. It's very embedded into their argumentative style. But you can usually distinguish that between the higher and the lower. So it's easy to parse through whenever you're looking through communities, like who are the people that are worth talking to and who are the people that are just, you know, in it for the spectacle or in it for the vibes or that kind of thing, or just to hang out or that kind of thing. And something that I've noticed with Godzilla in particular is that there is a disparaging like number of people who I would call part of the lower argumentative school in a way. And I say lower in the sense that they, on top of the fact that they don't have the standards that we generally have. I mean, most of us have varying standards, obviously, even in this call alone. But there's those that in the fandom, because of their standards, obviously, their argumentative style will reflect that as well. A lot of the arguments that you hear whenever defending a movie or critiquing a movie, a lot of them include tons and tons and tons of fallacies. Now, obviously, just because an argument has a fallacy doesn't necessarily mean it's false. It just means that it was poorly argued. But usually, you will very rarely find a point where you encounter a fallacy and it's like an actual correct point. Very rarely, whenever somebody is, you know, defending a movie, for example. And then there's two kinds of Godzilla fans, I would say, and I know I'm all over the place, but this is all going to coalesce in a singular point. I know that Lau just flinched like a wounded dog when I said the word singular and point. But,
hey, I was about to make a reference too. So
yeah.
Thing that I would like to posit, Rooney, to what you're saying is this kind of segues into what we were talking about earlier. I wonder how many of the people you were talking about, how many of them are kids? Like,
I don't really bother to ask because it's a weird thing to ask to someone in the middle of an argument.
No, Rooney, you're misunderstanding me.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not saying to ask that. I'm asking, like, that's a thing that I would keep in mind when you say that, and I don't know if it is the assertion that you're making is one that I think holds much water when most of these people haven't had the time to develop that, as I suppose is what I'm trying to say.
If they were kids, I couldn't tell. That's what I'm going to say. If they were kids, I couldn't tell.
Well, you can't really. The most you're talking to is a bunch of circles on the internet, to be fair.
Yeah, so, like, it's I don't think...
Unless
I don't...
If I had to, like, unless if there's like something on like their profile that say like their age or something that you generally don't know, and plus like people could that shit all the time.
I mean, you can see how they talk, whether they're kids or not. I know for a fact that there have been people in my server that I could immediately tell, okay, they're kids, and I just booted them from my server because I don't allow minors in my server. So
well, like, yeah.
So you can tell when it's like a really really young child. Now if it's somebody that is very I wouldn't say eloquent, but can speak like an adult, then it's going to be very difficult to parse through whether they're kids or not. That's why I don't really concern myself with like if is this a kid or not, because even if it's a kid, I could probably um you know justify it by saying, oh well, they would probably learn something if we have this discussion anyway. So like, yeah, that's why I bring that up, the discussion part. But what I was going to say is that there are two, at least the ones that I've discovered. There's probably more. Zim has probably met them, but I have seen two types of Godzilla fans: those that defend Godzilla movies based on the merit that it's fun, and those that actually argue for its quality. Now, in both sides, there's like little sub. I was gonna say subspecies. I was gonna say subspecies.
I mean, that's not an inaccurate.
Yeah, there's certain subspecies. God, does it look
I would have used subgroups, but I guess that works.
Subspecies. We need to be a little discriminatory on here.
Run with it.
That
Just roll with it.
have varying degrees of intelligence and varying degrees of knowledge when it comes to argumentation and dialectics, and I can't give you a census, but it's been a lot of those. I have seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of people who argue this basically the same way, using the same exact four logical fallacies, or four or five, and it makes you question like their intelligence at that point. And I think when it comes to critiquing certain areas of the movies, for example, you will more than likely encounter those fans, and very like rarely you will find people that actually want to engage in a discussion. It took a while, actually, from my experience. It took a while before I actually encountered Zim and his community, because by then I was already pretty notorious in the Godzilla community. People were calling me the next Dr. Skipper, even though the video that I made on Godzilla predates Skipper's video. So I think that's also really funny.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it predates it by like several months. So
all by a crosshair. Interesting.
Yeah, like several months before Skipper's video, my first video came out. Now, again, I do have an addendum on that video. I do cover that video in my own black screen. You can check it out if you want. It's not very long. It's only like an hour. But I've encountered a lot of people that are part of the quote unquote lower argumentative school in a way, and it has sort of poisoned my view of the community. And like, yeah, I understand that there's always going to be intelligent individuals, but given what I have seen, I struggle to find people that are like you and I, for example, me and Zim, or me and Lao, or Sea Monster. And because of how hard it's been to find these people, I was just like, okay, well, why is this happening? And then I looked at the movies. Now, given what I think about the movies, I ultimately came to the conclusion that, oh, these movies produced this kind of fandom. Whenever there's a franchise that, and I'm harkening back to what I said earlier. Whenever there's a piece of media, and that media has varying degrees of quality, like a franchise, for example, that has varying degrees of quality across multiple projects, like you'll have more varied discussions and more varied levels of discussion. Whereas with the Godzilla community, from what I have seen, both on Discord and on Reddit and even on Twitter, a lot of what I have seen has been part of the lower level. And I think that's mostly due to the fact that, well, I mean, a lot of the movies have a lot of problems that not a whole lot of people address. And I think it's only natural for a fandom to develop in such a way, because it almost predates Marvel, and well, it absolutely predates Marvel and DC, for example, because I come from the capes space.
Wait, do you mean like Marvel and DC in terms of like their film analysis stuff?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I was
and I'm
gonna say,
talking specifically like in in the later phases of the MCU. I'm not talking about phase 3, 2, 1. I'm talking about phase 4 and beyond. So
I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's necessarily the films themselves, like, because I kind of agree with what you're saying, where like certain films will develop certain communities, but I also think general like cultural impact is gonna
Yeah.
also be a deciding factor on that as well. Like, as popular and as long running as Godzilla is, it is still incredibly niche compared to like superhero stuff.
Yeah,
Compared
I
to
was gonna
Star
Same. I
Wars,
think
things like that.
what he meant, which Black, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not that it literally creates people. It's more like it attracts them, and therefore it does create the fandom that it creates. Did you mean that, like, as in it attracts the type of people, or
Even if that's the
Um,
case, I still don't think that really affects my argument one way or another.
what I meant mostly, I mean, Lau is partly correct, but what I was trying to say with that is that let me see if I can word this properly. It's not necessarily, I don't think that it's only cultural impact, because I'm talking about what the quality of the movies bring in people is what I mean.
Sure. Again, I still don't think that affects my argument really too much.
So do you think it's only the cultural part, or do you think it's a both and?
I think it's both, because I think that like even if the films will attract a certain level of fan based on what they are as films, if they aren't really showcased anywhere, then they're not really going to get a whole lot of attention around them and community built around them. Like, for example, I would say like even with like Star Wars is like a pretty good example of this. The first three films are really good pieces of cinema, and because the first one was a good piece of cinema, it attracted a lot of people. And as it continued to grow, it attracted more people, and it developed a wider range of fans where there's higher highs and lower lows. So really low like engagement fans and very high discussion fans as well. And it also had the ability to be distributed places to where it built up such a large community. Whereas with Godzilla, or just really a lot of like media that doesn't come out of the West in general, it always has a harder time gaining a lot of people in order to have these deeper discussions. And I think, like, honestly, Kuru had said it earlier about a lot of this being growing pains. And I think that as Godzilla has become closer to a cultural like zeitgeist kind of character, especially now more recently, I think we are getting people who are having these higher discussions coming into the fandom. But I also think there's people who are gonna be on the lower end as well that are gonna stick around. And I think the fandom has just gotten to a point where there wasn't a whole lot of attention around it, and as a result, it developed a lot of the same like 3-4 arguments due to that.
I'd also I'd also
I was going to ask Zim before you. Which one do you think affects one more than the other? Between the cultural and the quality of the movies themselves.
That's really hard, and I'm not entirely sure in this case. I think like they're both going to affect them equally, but it's going to be probably like a case by case basis. Where I'd
that's
want to
very
look at all of them.
complex.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like a nature versus nurture kind of argument in a sense.
Yeah, that's almost that actually is a pretty good analogy. That's I can't believe I didn't think of that. But yeah, no, that is pretty much what I'm saying, because
and I guess like to take my analogy and do it further, I think a lot of the arguments that have been made around Godzilla have been nurtured by the fact that it has been very niche for a long time. I think someone's eating.
Nice of you to assume that someone is taking a piss, dude.
You're eating.
Look, it's already happened once.
Water. I literally heard some water.
If you're crinkling something, just mute mics, please. But yeah, I would say like because of where Godzilla has been for so long, at least in terms of public consciousness, I think it has nurtured a certain kind of fan and certain opinions and arguments.
Yeah, I would also like to posit that in a way you could also look at the older side of the fandom in that Godzilla hasn't been given the exact reverence that he like quote unquote deserves. we were talking about this on the Riga stream earlier today, but the Wilderness era is a decade old at this point, and the kaiju genre overall is still not given that kind of reverence. And this is the other topic I wanted to talk about. The genre, like the perception of the genre and why the rest of the genre matters in relation to Godzilla, because Godzilla is the face of this stuff. But if he's not given that kind of reverence, if he's not given that kind of respect, then neither is the rest of the genre. Gamera came back because people asked for it, and it didn't really succeed. Ultraman's been doing his own thing, and how many people are actively talking about it? And we have this huge boom of stuff, but it's like, but kaiju are still treated as like these bombastic, shut up, leader of Lost Souls. Gamera Rebirth was great. These like bombastic, silly things.
Yeah, I agree. No, I have friends too that think that that's what Godzilla should be, just these bombastic, silly things.
Yeah, no,
and I mean, it's frustrating.
I guess like
get that
another
it is
thing too.
That's part
like,
of
what I wonder, why that is.
I want to like that's part of why I really feel like more people need to either open their minds or broaden their horizons. Like that's why I keep recommending you read Gayatima, because I genuinely think it is a good book. It is a good story, but I also think it's kind of the perfect story that I think would help you get into the wider genre. And more people, I feel like, need to start treating this stuff with respect, starting with Godzilla himself.
Yeah, I think like another thing too is that like with Godzilla also just had a harder road to be taken seriously compared to like a lot of other pieces of material. Because think about it, you're talking about a property that is made by a country on the losing side of a war that is now trying to market itself to its occupiers, touching on touchy subjects, and the concept, while palatable, is still inherently hard for people to like immerse themselves in. Like,
no,
even though like even that, like, and not to mention the fact too, like, let me just finish it. Like, as much as like I'm fine with Godzilla King of the Monsters for what it is, the film still technically butchers some of the key aspects of the original film, or tones them down significantly, that not like a lot of other long-running or like revered franchises had to deal with. Like if Star Wars had to go through the same issues that Godzilla had to go through, who's to say that like it wouldn't have been in the same boat or had to deal with the same issues that Godzilla's had to?
Yeah,
I have to ask though, because Godzilla's more like prominent in media right now, yet a lot of people still don't take him seriously. Why do you think that is? Because I remember you and I had a conversation about that.
Because of the
actually,
nature of kaiju.
before he answers, I would also like to add something else, which is, I think that the problem with people not respecting the genre is the fans themselves. Because, okay, Nico, before I say this, I don't mean it as a joke. Imagine you're not like a kaiju fan and someone recommends you fucking Final Wars. Like, how are you supposed to respect the genre if you watch a movie that's literally just a bunch of Power Ranger fights, explosions, and everything else?
I kind of see the argument.
I could kind of see.
No, like I can see that argument.
I can see
that's
it
the
as
thing.
well.
I really don't mean it as a joke or anything to make you feel bad, but that's the thing. And also, like when some people say, "Oh, it's like really shitty," and they see like the frustration in us, that also kind of like pushes them away, right? Because it's like, okay, this person is so passionate about this little like stupid thing. So we as fans like really need to be selective, and I think that same, and you, Minecraft, also went through this. We have to really carefully select what we show other people, step by step. It's literally a fucking stair, and it's going upwards every time.
Yeah, I was talking with my friend about this when I was showing her Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biollante, because she, much like me, has autism and ADHD, so she often likes to joke about this stuff. With Return specifically, it was kind of like, because I've been burned with that film. like Anthony Gramuglia and a lot of other reviewers have burned me with that film. And so like we had a back and forth. This was her enjoying this stuff. Like, yeah, she likes the storytelling. She likes a lot of what this franchise is doing, but she also likes to joke around, have fun with this stuff. That's part of why she enjoyed Mothra and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, because the serious stuff was balanced with the goofy stuff. That's honestly, after showing her Return and Biollante, I'm more excited to show her GMK. Cause like, but it's like there's a difference between that and someone genuinely not approaching the franchise in good faith. Yeah, some people have different ways of enjoying something, but at least having a reverence for it, or just understanding why this has the impact that it does, or why other people like it. And I think it also helps that my friend is a Transformers fan, so it kind of eased her into it.
To be fair, and I don't mean to, like just say that you're wrong, because it's not that you're wrong. It's just that it's almost like respect with people. The thing is, you cannot expect that it just comes. You have to earn it, and it really depends on what you see first. Like, for example, if someone watches 54, like, or like, what else could we say? Like Godzilla vs. Mothra, King Kong vs. Godzilla, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They might look at it and it's like, first of all, it's guy in suits, right? Like, it's guys in suits. Like, I don't know if I can take this seriously, right? Like, a lot of people will get really defensive about how can you not take it seriously? And it's like, dude, you have to understand the other person's perspective too. It's a guy in a suit at the end of the day.
Well,
and you
so
can try to give it as much. Yeah.
Like, can I
gonna-
argue your point? I was about to say, like, I don't think that's even a good argument either, and I don't think we should kowtow to that, because
No, it's not an argument. It's just a fact.
And
Like, some people will see it.
it may be
and
it
they-
is a fact, but it is still an argument passively or not, because like hypothetically, like, could you like form out more of this person's interests? Because like if someone was to tell me I'm not sure if I can take Godzilla seriously because it's a guy in a suit and they're like a Star Trek fan or a Doctor Who fan,
For example,
or like a
I
general
have-
sci-fi fan.
This is like an example I actually have. It was I was with a friend of mine. She was 50 years old. I was showing her different movies, like, I don't know, Planet of the Apes. I think we watched 54. And the thing is, as you might expect, she wasn't one of these people raised with like CGI or anything like that. She didn't have like a thing to say, "How this looks so bad." But it was just a thing that at some points of the movie like took her out. When she noticed some of the miniatures, for example, the miniature vehicles actually took her out of the movie more than the suit itself. And it was just, like moments in the movie where I, for example, would be like very into it, and she was like clearly, oh, I was getting into it, but then like this really bad effect in specific, like kind of like took me out.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
not that
like
she wasn't trying to. Like,
no,
the movie,
I
like,
understand
she
what you're
actually-
saying, but like in that case, like what is something? Is she like someone who's invested in sci-fi in general, or is just like
Yeah, actually, we
What's she really
watched
into?
like the old Planet of the Apes, and then we watched all of the new ones. We wanted to watch Star Trek because she actually did like those when she was like younger, but she had like completely lost, whatever was going on with those.
Yeah. Like,
we had like this whole plan of watching like a bunch of old movies.
Okay, because I guess
but-
like in that case, like that would literally be a person I would want to interrogate on like piece by piece, scene by scene, the rationale of how they're immersed in this versus that. Because I can say, like, having grown up on like all this stuff, when I've had people who are like really big fans of like old Doctor Who, and I mean like
yeah,
old
like
Doctor
old-
Who, and they are like immersed in it,
OG.
but they'll be like, "Oh, I really can't get into Godzilla because it's a man in a suit." And I'm like, dude,
My sibling
the,
in Christ.
the suits in classic
let me ask
Who
you something.
are
Zen. Let me ask you
awful.
something. Let me ask you something. Do you think that if you interrogate this woman, she would be able to articulate it properly? Because
No,
some people just can't.
No, and I don't think so. And I think it is literally just an aversion to just kaiju and Godzilla in general.
I said that earlier. I think
Kaiju
it is a
racism.
natural- I think it is a natural aversion to just the kaiju as just a genre, and I think this is a discussion that could carry its own stream. Is
Mhm.
why are people like this? I have some ideas,
Yeah.
specifically on the American thing, but I would need some serious time to like workshop them and also phrase them in a way that does not make me sound like a horrible fucking person.
I think like
Yeah, I
another
was
thing
gonna
too is that
say,
when
like,
it
I don't
comes to
think it's malice at
kaiju,
all.
I
I
think
don't
some
think
of
it's
it's
malice.
malice. Some of it's
I think
like
no.
I'm sorry,
part
like
of,
I'm gonna
part
be
of it is
honest.
absolute.
Never
Part of it is
attribute
absolutely malice.
nowadays. Never attribute something that could be that you could say is ignorance when it's actually malice. There's some things that I can say are just outright malicious, but I think with kaiju, another thing is that to sell kaiju, you have to do a whole lot more lifting because you have to like either full on make miniature sets or you have to have the budget to have like amazing CGI, on location shooting. You have to sell like scale. There's a lot more that you have to do to sell someone on a kaiju than like a wizard, for example,
for comparison,
or like a sci-fi.
And I think
like,
that just has to do with
I was
scale.
gonna say,
though.
I
Don't
was
you
gonna
think?
say a mecha. I was gonna say a mecha, which mecha generally has been traditionally portrayed in an animated format, which allows
Anime.
easier suspension of disbelief, as well as the mecha has an inherently human pilot. Even if Transformers aren't, like, even if Transformers, for example, aren't like piloted, they still turn into cars. They still turn into.
I think another thing
tangible
too, when
objects
it
that we
comes
can
to like
connect to.
mecha and robots and stuff, there's also just they are closer to actually being a thing than a
Reality.
kaiju is. Where with a
I think
mecha,
it is a-
it's
to an extent,
plausible
it is
to
a
make a giant
genuine-
robot.
I think there is a good chunk of it is a genuine unwillingness to engage with it because it's just a big monster. Like,
By the way,
because like
just
for example, like more
stories-
people can engage with dinosaurs more than they can with kaiju.
see, I say
Or
the same
how
thing
about
with
this? More
dinosaurs.
people
Though,
can
Zim.
I have a question I want to posit to the
Zim,
everyone
I
here.
see the same thing with dinosaurs.
Wait, let
though.
Vic talk.
Wait, let Vic.
Yeah,
has
because
Yeah,
he
'cause,
hasn't
like,
said anything.
I'm hearing all this, and I want to ask, like, do you think it's like specifically like one like a kaiju thing, or do you think it's something that can be applied more generally to like the effect as a whole? Because I keep thinking like, how would you compare, or how would you think people would compare the '76 Kong as opposed to like pick any random Godzilla suit, or maybe what you think is the best Godzilla suit from a Toho film? Because I always hear people complaining about either like giant claw, or they say, "Oh, the Jaws shark is unrealistic," and things like that. Do you think it's like different, or
I think like
I do think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
well, I was gonna say I think that like sort of not entirely.
I do
I mean,
think there is a
it
difference.
definitely.
I do because
So
every
everything
time
we're discussing will be, person to person. It will be a little bit different, but I do think that if you give, for example, let's say if you made 54 with like really good effects, I think people will really have an easier way getting into it. But it doesn't mean that they will just accept the kaiju genre as a whole, right? It's
But
just
I
that
guess like
54
in that
is
case,
like
minus
really-
one's a really good example of that, where you have enough people who
yes,
are
it is.
more like people are now more invested in the kaiju genre now. But I think like you still have like the Adam Does movies to where they really
Yes.
can't like regardless of what it is, they will only accept kaiju if it's silly because I think inherently they believe the concept itself is silly, which is
And even
why like
then, that's a
like I
gamble.
guess like
If I
tying it
may.
back to minus zero, we're obviously getting like teasers soon. Like I hope that it's a monster versus monster movie, but it still carries with it the reverence and the skill of like writing cinematography that had minus one. Because the reason why I say this, just to finish it off, is because I think it would, for me, it would personally serve as a good litmus test where it's like we hypothetically get a serious Godzilla film that also has monster on monster action and it tells a good story. Now I want to see what the people say. I want it to serve as essentially like a control for an experiment, and then gather reactions. That's what I'm looking to see out of this.
I think the fact that this is also releasing the same year as Gayatima, which is a traditional kaiju animated story, maybe it's not going to blow up as big. I don't know, but you still have two examples of serious storytelling with monster on monster action. So I think if minus one is successful, and then we potentially see the reactions to Gayatima, that may be indicative of something, especially considering how
minus zero and Gayatima are going to serve as fascinating litmus tests. And I feel like if they
And also,
if they
Kaiju
genuinely
got
can't just
caramelized.
Kaiju,
Like,
not really. Hang on. Let me just finish this.
Yeah, go.
Because I'm with Zim on this. It's kind of why I want this to be a versus movie, because yeah, it would serve as an experiment. Now, I've already ran this experiment on all of my friends. Thankfully, they all passed because they all have functioning brain cells. But so when it comes, but I want to see this, to like have this happen and see whether or not they all of a sudden, like, the switch goes off in their brain and they reject it, because at that point, I think a part of me would just no longer consider that person worth talking to.
Jesus.
About this stuff.
I mean, just because of a movie, like...
About
Jesus.
this stuff. You didn't let me finish.
Let him finish.
Okay.
Like, worth talking to about this stuff. Because at that point, it's so obvious that they're just like... It's such a fickle thing in their mind that they just will turn off and on whenever they please.
Yeah, it's essentially an argument. Like, it's essentially would serve as a giant argument to incredulity at that point, where there is no way that you could be convinced of this, regardless of quality, regardless of anything. And then as a result, yes, I'd be in a similar boat to Kuru, where it's like, I don't care what you have to say about this genre. I kind of already see where your mind goes, regardless of what is given to you. Please get out of my face. Leave this fandom. Like, do not engage with it, because you offer no value, and anything that you are going to say is inherently harmful ontologically.
As someone who is typically a more cynical person, I would try to posit a less cynical view of it and just say, ask truly, because I don't think it's as simple as because
why not?
you just don't like it. You just don't like it because you don't like it, or you don't like.
Well, no,
Monster
at this
because you
point,
just don't
some
like
people
it.
are that.
Like,
would-
that's what I'm saying.
I would
That,
wait. Hold on.
in the
Let me-
hypothetical that's proposed, again,
Let me
like-
finish. Hold on.
sure.
So what I was going to say is that typically, the larger something is that is living, the harder it is to buy. Right? Even our ancient myths of dragons. I mean, there was a size cap to the dragons. We didn't have Encalagon the Black of sorts. We had something that was like, the size of a whale or the size of an elephant or that kind of thing. We've had, like, if you want to talk about dinosaurs, I mean, dinosaurs were oftentimes, if not the size of whales, they were like the size of two whales, right? The bigger something is, square cube law, this, that, and the other. And I know that's like a bad omen or a bad word. Ixnay on the square cube law say, as you say in Pig Latin, but that is something that is that is going to eventually pop up in the mind of the more, I guess you could call them, secular people. I mean, it's easier to buy. I think the reason why it's easier to buy things like wizards and that kind of stuff. Okay, let's start with wizards. The reason why people can buy wizards is because we did have wizards, and I mean, we did have phenomena that you would consider unexplained. We did have events in history that could be considered supernatural, and we do have witches. We do have pagan and occult practices, and all that kind of stuff. We do have that in the real world, so that is easier to buy. Like Harry Potter would be much easier to buy in that sense. How about Star Trek? Well, I mean, science fiction, the thing that grounds science fiction in reality is the science part, because a lot of it, like for example, Star Trek is like almost utopic in the sense that, like, okay, this is where humanity is headed, or this is where we are trying to get humanity to. Something like Cyberpunk,
Real quick,
for example.
can I interject? Wouldn't that kind of discount a lot of classic sci-fi as like being able to be bought into? Like classic Star Trek, you have to suspend your disbelief a lot on a lot of things, like the teleporter that they have, or like especially like the replicator, because it is literally able to create matter in that sense, which would
the teleporter creates matter.
The replicator, like where it asks you where you can like say like, could I get this food, and it just like magically causes it to appear.
Oh no, the replicator. I think you can absolutely create a scientific explanation as to why that is even able to be done.
But
I mean,
to create matter.
uh, I don't. Does it say that it creates matter, or is that just a standard for like transforming matter into another thing?
I think certain versions of the replicator is able to just literally create matter to produce its like objects.
I mean,
Although
like I remember
just
the
to-
scene with the people where they just create like 500 cigarettes. Oh, wait,
That's from the Orwell. That's the Orwell.
Never
Orville or
Although just
Orwell?
to,
Orville.
just to
Orville.
interject in the
Sorry, I
interjection,
thought
I
that was
would
Star
say
Trek.
that Star Trek is normally known as a nerd thing because it's such a niche thing that most people cannot get into anyway. So yeah, no,
But
I
we
do
can move
think
away
that-
from Star Trek. We can pull something else, I guess.
Interstellar.
Star Wars.
I was going to use Interstellar.
No,
but-
Interstellar is like.
I would say like in the
highly
case of
believable.
in the case with like Star Wars, because of the nature, like because of its framing too, I think is another thing where
as
unlike
fantasy.
yeah, it is essentially a fantasy in like a space setting. So as a
Yeah.
result, you are able to suspend your disbelief more. Well, with kaiju, I think like a lot of the appeal of kaiju comes from the fact that it is like these giant fantastical creatures interacting with fairly modern worlds, which is why you often don't see a whole lot of like world building attributed to kaiju existing on the day to day, because there's supposed to be that like direct contrast, which stems from the fact of like I think particularly just the first Godzilla movie.
But I think we're missing like the point here. Like, whenever we're bringing up these things, we have to understand like why, from a like psychological and cultural perspective, because giant monsters have existed throughout myths and religions through all of history. So like, and technology right now, like we're getting to the point like we're closer. You said it yourself. Or someone said it, that we're closer to mechs right now than ever.
I did.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
making lightsabers in our garages now. People are making lightsabers. We're
That is
very
true.
close to an Iron Man suit. Like,
Mhm.
And
like,
Spider-Man
even
too.
Jetpacks.
I guess it's like the case where it's like unlike technology, where the further we go along, the closer we get to sci-fi technology. With biology, it doesn't have the same kind of progression that would allow kaiju to become a thing in the traditional sense of what kaiju are.
think at
sort of,
best, you have
yes.
stuff
Because
like
in the past we
CRISPR.
had dragons. Like back in the like in the olden days, we had
Well, we had dragons back in the day, but like
they
even
weren't
looking at
they weren't
if you-
Calagon the Black.
well, the other thing, like, some of them are big depending on the myths, but like you don't get like Godzilla-sized dragons, and the ones that are like as big as Godzilla or bigger are usually tied more directly to the divine in that sense.
Yeah.
Also, if I were to interject, aren't like Leviathan and Behemoth literally like supposed to be like giant or
They're
Am I-
big,
And
but they're not
Scylla.
like big.
And even
big.
then, you had the odd occasional creature like Typhon.
But even like looking at Typhon is more directly tied to like the primordial forces like Kronos and Gaia and all of that, rather than just
Some
being
of it is
biological creatures purely. Well, we have things
some
like
of it is just
Landon.
symbolic language. Some of them are not actual like real creatures. They're just used to represent stuff. Like in the book of Daniel, for example, the cheetahs with the 4 heads and the wings. That's
Oh, you're
representative
talking about
of a
all like
nation.
the. I always just call I always call them short the,
Also,
divine beast, even though they're not divine.
Also, I
in
just
any
want to
way.
state, JDF, you haven't said much. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I was just waiting for my cue to say something about the fandom and all.
Yeah, because
I
you
guess
were
we
supposed to
possibly-
say something.
Okay, I would say genuinely, put a pin in this conversation. This could be its own discussion. stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, this is
that is
because
true.
I'm kind of with Zim's side here. I think it is primarily an unwillingness because I don't just see this with kaiju. I see it with dinosaurs as well, not to the same extent,
That
but
is
I
true.
do see it with dinosaurs as well. And I just think this is something that could be its own discussion at a later date. I'd be really down to join in for that because I think it is,
Yeah.
especially
I mean,
after
any-
Minus Zero and
any
Gaia
excuse
Zima
to
come
talk
out.
about mythology.
Just to
Yeah.
close it, all I want to say is that society is in such a weird point about these two things that I would actually be fine with telling a girl that I'm into Godzilla, but I would never say to a girl that I like that I'm into dinosaurs. because of
Really?
how fucking dinosaurs have like this specific thing where it's almost seen as like this super childish fucking thing. Godzilla, at least you can just seem like you're like a geek, right? But with dinosaurs, a lot of people perceive it as like okay, so mentally you're like 4 years old.
That is something interesting, and I feel like you only really get over that hurdle if you're like an actual scientist in the field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
anyway.
that is actually a good point to bring up. But yeah,
Next
we'll
stream
put a pin on
topic,
this.
how to get women in with dinosaurs.
I've actually debated
That's the neat part.
talking
You
about
don't.
like getting women as like a Godzilla guy. But
Anyways,
Baby, do
JDF,
you want to see my
JDF, you have
T-Rex?
things to say. Lau, let him speak.
yeah, we'll let JD.
Now, shut up. Let him speak.
My own thoughts about the fandom in general. Where do I begin? Well, while I do the most wisest thing out of all of them, I avoid it. Not just out of... Well, not just out of me just avoiding it just for the sake of avoiding it, because I have my mind focused on so many things other than the community. If the community is going to bring me down, I'm going to be like, no, fuck off. I'm just going to walk away and not let you drag me down. I'm just going to focus on this other community that I am in, voice acting community, and the other community, the video game community. Those are the kind of communities that I get into. But yeah, for the, just like with the Godzilla community, the gaming community is, boy, how the hell do I explain this? Basically, how can I define this? Most of the gaming community is defined by two things. One, a huge amount of people who are focused on just games. They want to play games. They want to hang out with friends. That's cool. But there's another part that is really, really, really toxic. I'm talking like man-children, console warring, doing this and that. Not to mention, they would go so far as to dox people just to defend a stupid plastic box. I'm like, you're doing all of this just to defend a stupid box that you play with on a regular basis? Oh my god, you not only have sex with that fucking thing, you do women. Fucking hell. But that's not to say that the voice acting community doesn't have any bad apples. They do. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but in general, I just avoid toxicity. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up. I think like in a lot
like-
of ways, you have to be the arbiter of like who you choose to interact with as well as who you choose to really let affect you.
The onus is on you to pick your own battles.
Yes, and I think that's something
choose-
more people need to do.
Yeah,
I
that's
choose
kinda
the capitalist approach and just try and make money off of them.
I mean, you can if you can make up money off of it, then sure. But if you're,
I mean,
can't-
like
if
I
you're not
think that
making money,
that
then
is
yeah,
also tangent on this as well, because I feel like with it, you'll just have to, if you want to make money off of them, cool. But where does that point? Where do you draw the line between like how much money you're making and how much you'll actually put up with? Because if you aren't able to put up with it and the money isn't good enough, then it's probably going to grate on you.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
As Lear says, farm the haters into
Form
content.
the haters into content.
I watch.
No, Zim,
Listen.
Zim, you
I
don't
watch-
understand. These haters were promised to me 2,000 years ago.
Okay, listen.
Wait, let JDF speak.
Okay, listen, I watch content creators who farm like PlayStation fanboys, like the worst ones. I mean, the fucking stupidest ones. And it is a joy to watch. That guy is doing it so that I don't have to, and I get a kick out of it. And I get to laugh at their faces and actually throw some shade.
For me, I don't tend to engage with people to that extent because, to a certain extent, I get secondhand embarrassment. For some reason, tagging on these videos doesn't work. That doesn't happen with like the video specifically because then I don't know, it doesn't for some reason. I think it's because it's cathartic, but whereas when I'm watching it with like people like just trolling people on the internet randomly on like people messing with people on Dragon Ball Xenoverse,
I just like get secondhand embarrassment.
That's like a mood thing for me, where it's like
Oh,
I
you play
really just gotta be
Xenoverse?
in the. I gotta be in the
Secondhand
mood.
I
embarrassment.
used to
It's
play
horrible.
Xenoverse 2 on my Switch. I'm actually very excited for Xenoverse 3.
Ooh, nice.
I probably
Gotta
put
keep it-
like
keep it
I
1,000,
probably put
man.
close to like I don't remember how many hours I put into Xenoverse 2. It was probably over 100.
Let me
I've been
ask you
wanting
this,
to play.
Curve. You have to answer this. Did you ever encounter Super Itachi?
Super Itachi. I didn't play
Or Lord
online.
Paragon.
Yeah.
I know of him. I never played online. I just stayed in my lane doing like all the solo stuff and having fun making characters.
Okay.
Wait, is that the guy that has like the Jiren outfit and
Yes,
and
yes,
the-
Yes.
Yes.
God,
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, Black, you actually met him?
no, I haven't met him, but I know of him.
Okay.
What
let's say I'm
Dragon
like-
Ball fan
To
doesn't
finish
know
off my
of him?
point.
Sorry.
But to finish off my point here, yes, indeed, I tend to avoid any kind of community unless there are some good apples, like you folk, that I get to say, you know what,
Aw.
maybe it's not so terrible.
Thank you.
Minus
Yeah.
Kuri.
I have points.
Ooh.
What the hell, Taylor?
Oh, you ass.
That was
See, he has a British voice, so he's probably telling the
Ah,
truth.
ah, ah, my goodness.
He's not even
I mean,
British.
He's not
I'm not
British.
even British, I'm American.
He has a British vibe.
Man, but in all seriousness,
the British man.
If anyone wants
to
to-
ginger.
if anyone wants to bring me down to the depths of hell, I'll be like, no, you're not dragging me to your hell. I'm dragging you to my hell since you want to drag me into this shit. And if you do, you are going to be eviscerated from the fucking head down.
So in other words, you're like, welcome to hell, mother.
Indeed.
Where
Yes.
have I remember. I don't remember where that's from, but I
Keith
recognize.
David.
Tales from the
That is
Hood.
Keith.
Two.
That's Keith David.
Keith David
Pete.
in the ending. Keith David.
Keith
one of the-
David.
one of
Yes.
the most
As
beautiful
Satan, it's
voices
like
I've-
it's amazing.
Keith David is like the kind of voice, like Cartoon Sheet put it well. He's the kind of voice where you learn that he's in a movie or a show, and you're just like, wait, you're in this?
I'm pretty sure he was Spawn.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
that
he was
voice.
Spawn.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
oh
is
yeah,
Spawn.
he is Spawn.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Spawn. He also-
give me a Happy Meal. Give me some
Also-
coffee.
it's kind of
With that
Also-
said, Busy Pop, stop
It's
calling
kinda-
him.
it's actually kind of timely
away
that you
from
mentioned
this
Keith
ball.
David. It's actually kind of timely that you mentioned Keith David because I inadvertently saw a clip of SpongeBob and I heard Keith David's voice.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. He
yeah.
voiced in an episode of SpongeBob. It was like Gary's quote unquote voice through a translator.
Yes.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
also in John Carpenter's Thing.
Come
So
on, Papa Bob, let's get out
It
of
was
this.
also
Come on, Papa.
That's my-
Bob.
that's
He
my
said
favorite.
that. He said that legitimately.
That's my favorite trope in cartoons where you have a tiny cutesy character and they just have like a crazy deep voice.
No, like they're like the character's pet. You give them like for one
Man,
episode.
if
like,
only
the
we could
ability to
show that
talk.
clip of I don't want Viacom to take down Zim.
I'm dead.
Um,
Yeah. Anyone else got like a topic that we want to cover?
I think
Just that I
Uh,
would really like to put a pin on the whole kaiju and the nature of suspension to disbelief thing.
yeah, because
But
that could be.
I wanted
that-
to say
that-
one. I wanted to say one more thing on the matter. Like, I find it weird that like people are able to buy into superheroes, but not giant monsters. Like when arguably there are more like intricacies in like superheroes, like
You know
different
what I could-
powers than like say a giant monster.
Actually,
To be
you know
fair,
what? You know what I
I-
called them? I
What?
called them idiots.
Zim, I mean, who was the Nico? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, we just talked about that. We have Iron Man suits.
No, but something like Superman.
Yeah, like
Oh
Superman.
no, Superman! No, absolutely, yeah, no. That makes
yeah,
more
that's
sense.
what I mean.
Superman
Like,
is the
you
weird
have-
one.
Okay.
But like,
Yeah, sure. I could buy Iron Man or Batman existing, but like you have like
So
Superman.
I would say,
Of course
you know,
like Batman. He's just me.
not to like say that I agree with this because actually superheroes have always bored the shit out of me. But as you grow up, I guess that you can relate to some of the stories, you know, just like of them as characters, and that's what hooks you before the powers actually get you. You know.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess
fair
in that case,
enough.
it's like the
Yeah,
main
fair enough.
character of the story is the one you are supposed to like relate to, whereas with the kaiju, you're not really supposed to. So if there's already
and
that,
since a lot of kaiju movies don't even have good human characters or characters at all, then it's like, you know,
it's like a
empty.
harder,
What are you
like
supposed
not
to
only
latch onto
it's like a
then?
harder
That's the
suspension of
question.
disbelief, and you're not really able to
Yeah.
identify it. So it's like
It's harder to suspend your disbelief because like what is currently grounding you to the world? Like what is your anchor in a way? Like who's your anchor being? And I know that MCU fans probably flinched like an abused dog after hearing the word anchor being, but no, like seriously, who is your anchor being in that case? Because it's not the kaiju, and it's certainly not the humans.
Well, I guess depending on what it is.
Yeah, like I would say, like even
that
like
is a
as
very
writing
case-by-case
my
basis, because like you can have well characterized kaiju and well done humans in both cases. I mean, it exists.
You know, actually,
it is possible, like theoretically, but like how much of that is there?
you know what? Leader of the Lost Souls and himself, Kaiju have good character arcs too. Yeah, they do.
They can. I would generally argue that, like, this will probably happen in the eventual interview that I have with him. I very strongly disagree with him and Monster Go Burr being. I think that is an incredibly boring approach to kaiju.
wait, what?
That's just. I remember in your interview with Minecraft that you talked about like well characterized kaiju versus Monster Go Burr, and I just like. I don't like Monster Go Burr as an approach. Just
like, give them a story.
Yeah,
because to me it's
to
like.
be fair, it
Well, I think
can
it's
work.
like it depends. I'd
really
want to probably rewatch what I said specifically.
Yeah.
Because then I could probably get myself back into the mindset as what I would elaborate further on that.
Yeah, because
since
I
it's
would
something
really
you wanna
like to go
discuss.
into that in our interview, which I'm still not feel like I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah, like because I at least like having still working on the novella, like the main character that there's like 4 main characters, 1 primary character that you follow, but like all of them have facets of like that grow friend group. So specifically for like men to identify with, there's going to be that one character that you'll be able to identify with most, and then other characters that you'll be able to like because you've had that one guy in your friend group. And then as for the monster, I would say like story-wise, the big thing that I wanted to focus on was, I guess, like to elaborate more on the Kaiju Go Burr, is that it has like very simple motivations, but I wanted to characterize them very well so that you, as someone who is not you're never really going to get too much into the creature's mind, but you'll still be able to know exactly what it's thinking and why it's doing the things that it's doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now that like although it is beneficial to have characters have character arcs, it's not necessary for them to be a good character. Just as long as they are qualitatively a character, not just a number on the story. That's like, oh, this is character 520, or
Yeah.
this is character 67.
Yeah, like
this is
Frieza,
character
for
420.
example.
Rooney character 6.
Yeah, Frieza as a character. Well, Frieza is also a villain, but I'd say like if I want to do protagonist, like one of my favorite characters, like Conan, doesn't really go through character arcs in the story. He's a very like flat character. He's not a dynamic character.
Yeah,
but through his interactions, you are able to see a lot of characterization, and you're able to understand how he thinks and why he acts in the way that he does.
Yeah,
And it makes
I
it entertaining to watch.
mentioned on the stream this can be applied to Kaiju. Nebula from Howl from Beyond the Fog doesn't really have any character arcs, but you still have those character moments and those interesting attributes. Most notably, the fact that he's blind and how that affects his actions when he goes on his rampage. Or for another example, Gamera. Part of what made the Gamera pitch stream so interesting is how we characterized Gamera. All of us chose what levels of depth to give him and how differently should he be characterized while still staying faithful. Yeah, Gamera isn't a deep character. Not really. Like, Heisei is the deepest you'll get. But you still have those interesting character attributes that you need to keep intact.
Yeah, I agree, and also that's also something that I talked about in my stream on Conquest in the black screen episode I did yesterday, which I think you should watch. But yeah, no, like there are some villains, for example, they don't go through arcs. I mean, Nosferatu Zod. As far as we've gotten in Berserk, he doesn't really have that big of an arc. He just likes to fight. But the depth that we go into, like just how much he likes to fight, because spoilers for those of you that haven't read Berserk, but Nosferatu Zod, when he starts
Before
serving
you continue, Black, if there's anything that's recent, I have not checked on Berserk in some time.
I want
If you
to
bring
read
up anything
Berserk.
recent,
I will
say fondle
anything.
you. I will
Don't
drive down to
I'm
Florida.
just gonna straight up say,
I will
Rooney,
be
don't-
there in an hour, and I will
I will
fondle
just
you.
straight up. I
May,
would just
calm
straight up
down. Goodness
say,
gracious.
Rooney,
I will commit a racial hate crime.
I would just straight up say, Rooney,
Bruh.
stop talking. I actually want to read Berserk. So
Okay.
I don't want to be
All right,
spoiled
fine.
if there's anything new that
I
you're
think-
gonna mention.
I think a
All
better
right, fine.
I think a better example that I
Conquest.
could use. I mean, Conquest is there. I was going to say Sentinel Prime from TF1.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I rewatched Pointless Hub's video on TF1, so I've been thinking about that film all day. But yeah, Sentinel doesn't really have much of an arc. If anything, he gets increasingly more maddened as his like view of as his like grasp on control of Iacon breaks apart, because Optimus and because Orion and D are doing their whole thing.
Yeah. I was gonna bring up the reason I brought up Conquest is not just because it's recent on my mind, but also because Robert Kirkman did give him a lot of depth, more so than in the comic. Because, like, yeah, he likes to fight, but his love of fighting made him so good at it that it isolates him. So that's why I think he says, "I am a victim of my own success." But he doesn't go through an arc. And the guy in the video was like, "Oh, there needs to be like a change in Conquest or like his relationship." Like, no, it doesn't. It's perfectly
Yeah.
fine as it is, and it challenges Mark in exactly the ways that you would expect someone like him who just loves to fight. Even in the comic,
I was
even
also gonna
without the
say
depth-
villains usually aren't the ones that go through those changes. That's almost more of like usually more of a protagonist thing. Usually
And I would
antagonists
say
are
that's a
defeated because
Disney villain. That's
Oh.
a modern Disney villain. If anything, actually not giving villains arcs or making them relatable, or at least not all that much, right? Sympathetic actually is more unique nowadays.
Yeah,
It's interesting because, like, I've been meaning to play these, and I'm about to give a random example. The Mario and Luigi RPGs with Fawful is like an interesting, different case of that because he's like the overarching protagonist, like antagonist of the first three games: a Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Bowser's Inside Story.
Shit.
And Fawful's whole thing is he does go through an arc as a villain. He never doesn't stop being a villain, but I do think it's possible, and it makes for what is generally, by people who've played those games, generally considered one of the best villains in gaming, from what I've gathered.
I think it is possible to write an arc because whenever people think of an arc, they think of a change that's like, oh, maybe a villain has to go from bad to good. But not necessarily. There can be villains who go through an arc who deepen their evils or change how they approach their evil deeds and try to make them more effective or make it more, intimate as opposed to grand scale.
Yeah, and you have like some
story.
I think, and you have some stories where the protagonist, the character who goes through like the most change throughout a story, is could easily be described as like the villain of a story. Like you have Breaking Bad, like Walter White becoming Heisenberg throughout that show is pretty much considered to be like an example of a man who just ends up becoming like more of a ruthless. Almost like force, if you will. And
or for an inverse example, you have something like Robotnik gradually becoming a better person because he now has a proper family because through something like Sonic Frontiers.
I think I don't remember where I saw this, but I saw a post where it's like Robotnik is gonna be like super kooky and cartoonish with his villainy when it comes to Sonic, but when he hates someone else other than Sonic, he will be absolutely ruthless and even
that's
we see that in the comics. Is like he's like
the moment he's after someone else that isn't Sonic, he's the scariest fucker in the room.
I love like the scene where he completely obliterates Starlight. I absolutely adore.
He doesn't even. He just puts the. He just lays him out. He just runs the hands. He literally ragdolls him.
He wants the ones.
Absolutely beautiful.
God, he wanted the
Robotnik
ones.
is the scariest guy I've ever seen in my life, Master Bruce.
I'm so scared.
I guess going back to going once again back to the topic at hand, is there any other points that we want to raise?
I wanted to ask.
Nope.
Have you
Zim.
guys?
We'll do Lau and then JDF.
No, please.
Hold on. Zim.
First do JDF and then me.
I was going to say I'm about to sign off, and I was going to ask him to allow me to plug in my shit.
Oh, okay. If you're gonna bounce out, yeah, no, definitely. Well, give you the floor then.
All right. Well, that's enough out of me, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to check out my stuff, then head on over to JDFVA. Earlier today, I just uploaded a new chapter of the Guardians of Earth 2, Godzilla versus Ebra, Baragon, and Titanosaurus. And there's only two things you need to know about it. Number one, Godzilla crashes the fuck out. And number two, there's further development of the Ryu Seicho. And if you want to see more of my content, then subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see where I hang out. Sure, I hang out in Zim's Discord, but I also hang out in VA City. It's literally attached to my name on Discord. Just go there. Anyway, be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I am out of here.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
He can have my children.
Really? So you're cheating on Zim now?
Wait, what?
He really is a bike. He went from me to Braden, now to JDF.
Listen, Rooney's
Look at
just
this.
one big man whore.
Bro gets around.
Yeah.
He's
He's
we'll put it
swapping
like that to be
recipes.
nice.
See,
He's
what
swapping
happened-
recipes.
no,
We'll say it. No.
No.
We'll just say it in the politically correct way and say he gets around.
No,
No,
he-
Kuru,
what he's
what
doing
happened
is swapping
was-
recipes around.
No, Kuru, what happened was
Rooney,
I
don't but
discovered-
still me.
You gotta admire the hustle.
What happened was that I discovered that Russian women were actually evil, and I was just so down. I just need someone.
I'm dead.
What?
You still made a
yeah.
mistake, though. I'll be honest, but
Wow. Okay. Wow. You're gonna man shame me.
I'm gonna man shame you because you're just gonna ditch Russian women. That's
No.
okay.
I'm man mogging you, bro. I'm man mogging you right now. Get man mogged.
But Lau,
This is
what
a
was the point you were
conversation
gonna
between
raise?
heterosexual men, by the way. This is what heterosexual men talk about. all the time.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to know how gay men talk, you should go and check Sea Monster's latest video. Hell yeah!
No,
You
seriously.
hear
Like,
the
no,
very
seriously. Like his
insightful
April
quote
Fool's
from
video,
Matthias
like full bit drop. See, your April Fool's video was absolute cinema.
Yeah, Lau helped with good parts of like the writing for it. It's like some suggestions.
Now, I must say, Matthias Confucius had me dying.
That
was
was
me.
Sea Monster. That was him, actually.
Or, well, you call it O5
no.
Gandhi was cinema.
Now, listen, was the Peruvians thing you?
Yeah. I
knew it.
That was me.
Lau, you don't understand. That almost killed me. Like, Sea Monster was on the call when I was watching that. I probably spent a good 30 minutes wheezing as they just listened to me go into a actual coughing fit.
I was like, just wondering, like, is he okay? Did I just kill him?
Yes. Anyways,
I almost.
Sea Monster, I'll be sending you my hospital bills.
Next time,
to
just
the
don't die.
Welcome
Like,
to the
I know
American
hospital bills right
healthcare
now can be
system,
expensive because
motherfucker.
this is America and inflation. So just like don't die. You know what I mean? Whenever you're like
This is
bleeding out,
America.
Yeah, they don't die. They don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to
you
say,
ever get a-
Nico, if you were about to make a "This Is America" joke with the song, I will shoot you.
I mean, this is America, so you would
That
be
totally
able to.
wasn't. That totally wasn't the reference at all.
But knowing that you were like on a call watching the whole thing, now I'm mad that I wasn't there.
Yeah, that video's great, Lau.
It was
I use my hat
absolute.
off
No, like sitting in the call with everybody having O5's profile pic and a name adjacent to it. It was an art.
Wait,
It was an
Minecraft,
absolute art.
you almost killed me.
No, speaking of 05, on the topic of Godzilla community, 05 debate me.
I won't be surprised if this is also 05 King of Slop.
D3R.
Hi.
It's got like the same naming scheme too.
Hi, but yeah. Okay,
He
I'll be
says,
hanging
"Okay, I'm
up.
heading out for the night." So I
As
don't
usual.
know.
Probably not him.
But if it's not, if King of Slop isn't 05, then welcome to King of Slop. I need more people like this. King
But
of
yeah,
Slop.
Yeah, King of Slop was in the comment section of the April Fool's video, by the way. So
I think. So Kuru, do you still want to do the thing with? Do you still want to do the one-on-one? The like. talk
That'll
you had
save
with
that for
Roman?
later.
Oh, all right.
So, Lau, what were you gonna say?
Wait, DM it to me really quick. What was it?
So I was going to ask if you guys have already talked about this, just in case you already did, which is disengaging.
We covered it kind of, but I guess that like disengaging would be the perfect topic to end on. Is like, when is it? Like, when do you choose to disengage? Because I know some of us, like, we covered it slightly, but not completely.
So like I have actually a problem, which is I try to never insult anyone, but if someone insults me, you know that meme where like Superman is like flying away, and like Conquest or whatever his name was, he just like grabs him by the cape, and he's like, "We're not done here." So like when someone insults me, if someone dark side, when someone like insults me, it's like, oh, so you want to play?
No,
You're
literally.
gonna die. Yeah, I don't.
No,
It's
I'm
like,
kind of in that boat where I'm like, at the same time, like, it's literally the angel and the devil on my shoulder. It's just like, no, you should be a better man. You should like continue to just be the better man. Don't stoop down to his level. And then the angel says, call that motherfucker slurs.
Wait, the angel is saying that?
No, the angel saying don't do it.
Run the ones. The angel's saying run the ones.
By the way, not to derail too much, but apparently
Get ready to receive some Holy Spirit.
Oh, the -0 teaser trailer is apparently longer than -1's teaser. So
nice.
How long was
We'll get a bit
-1's teaser?
it was 35 seconds.
Yeah.
So we're-
Ooh, I was close.
Minus
probably getting
-0 is closer to a minute almost.
Yeah, we're
Not
probably
completely,
getting-
47 minutes.
Dude, I am now like, dude,
Oh, God.
I'm now so ready for
We
this.
gotta place final bets.
Also, Yamazaki, like, actually, yes, final bets. I am calling now Rodan or Hedora.
Rodan or
Mothra. I'm betting on either Mothra.
I'm still sticking with
Anguirus, or
Mothra.
Rodan. No, not Rodan. Hedora.
Actually, yeah,
I'm
for
going
everyone
for
who
the
is
classic.
watching tomorrow, I like the moment I get up, I'm gonna put a poll in the YouTube post. So I want to
Dude,
see what everyone's
Yamazaki
picks are.
reposted the teaser announcement, and all he said was just, "Here it comes."
Oh, did he?
Yeah, no, I
I'm
put it
going-
in
Did
the
he?
main- He just
Did
said,
Diddy. He did it.
I'm gonna just like,
Come with me. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
Zilla tried to warn us. We just didn't listen to him.
so it's like
Yeah.
Zim in that scenario, J. Jordan James, where he's like, Zilla was a hero. I just couldn't see it.
See it?
A thief! A
Roland
criminal!
Emmerich was a
He
hero
tarnished
all over.
Godzilla! He's a threat to the entire city! I want that tunnel crawling lizard strung up! I want 98!
Oh, by the way, this is from my server. Not gonna post it, but because I'm not close to my PC right now. But O5 thought it was Hedora in the picture for the poster because of the smog. And I looked at the image, and it's like, oh, and he said, oh, the sun is just making it look golden. I'm like, O5, smog doesn't look like that. I have to explain it.
If anything, the light
Even in
the
another
light's probably more of an
server,
indication
the
of
O5Ls continue.
I mean, okay, dust. Yes, I could see where the head came from. That said, Common 05L.
I had to explain to him how
Hedora's my
fog works. I mean, how
Okay.
smog works.
I'm going to say this. My realistic votes are probably Mothra or Ghidorah. My dream picks are Hedora and Rodan.
I mean,
I'm going to go super classic. Exactly. Yeah, no, me too. Angus or Hedora.
my dream pick would be Anguirus, Farron, or Baragon.
I would love to see Anguirus, though. I think he would work just.
I wanted minus
and I'm still gonna perpetuate this joke. Watch it be Maguma.
And if it does end up being Mothra, we're gonna remember when
No, but like full bit drop. If it is Maguma, I think literally everybody is just gonna scream.
I'm just gonna laugh.
More like laugh.
My dream choice is obvious. It's Morbius. Morbius versus Godzilla.
Yes.
I need to see Godzilla Morb alongside Godzilla. I need Morbius.
They team up actually to fight Morbzilla, and Morbius has to sacrifice himself to stop Morbzilla, so Godzilla lives on in the way of the Morb. So the sequel to minus Zero is listen. So the sequel is Godzilla minus Morb.
No. The ending goes like
maybe there's a good
Morb
chance
the
he'll
world.
beat Morbius.
Morb the world.
I don't know.
My final message. Morb out.
I legit think that it might be Hedora or Anguirus, but if I have to, do like a dream pick, I actually want.
I'd be fine with any monster mentioned. I just don't want Ghidorah.
Me neither.
Ghidorah, if you want to have a Ghidorah, don't do it in the second movie.
Yeah. Monsterverse, cough.
Look,
but if I have to go for a dream pick,
I
knowing that it's not going to happen, I will say I want Skeleturtle and Giant Condor to team up and just beat the shit out of Godzilla.
They're not going to bring back Skeleturtle.
Well, you know what, kiddo? You're wrong. That's never gonna happen. You're a loser.
Not in this economy.
Also,
we're never gonna see those monsters in this
I want to run
economy.
this idea by.
This is
I want to run
monster.
this idea by you, Rooney.
What?
Minasu ends with the trilogy, and the MonsterVerse ends with the next film. It ends the MonsterVerse ends with Baggin. Minasu ends with Griffin.
I don't know what that is.
The 94
Why did I
script.
just imagine that, like, the boss from Smiling Friends? Just, I don't know what that is.
The 94, the antagonist from the 94 Godzilla.
Friends.
So like they basically swap their most famous scrapped monsters.
Oh.
My bets would be a giant cyborg ice cube from War of the Worlds.
Is you?
Sea
It's
monster.
My old lizard boy is attacking Tokyo.
Actually, the Minus trilogy ends with Cyber Yuko.
Yeah! we get the Bride of Godzilla.
We get the Bride of Godzilla.
It's Cyber Yuko, and it's the same design that 05
That's a
drew.
deep cut if ever I've seen one.
Actually,
Hallelujah.
you're wrong because what they're going to do is they're going to do a multiverse, and it's actually going to end with Cyber Millie Bobby Brown.
No.
Oh my god.
Now I'm on the same. Fuck you, don't bring the multiverse into this.
And then Drake,
I just-
Mega
they
Drake
actually-
comes
the
and
poll-
tries to kidnap her.
The poll is up now. It only lets you do 4 though, unfortunately.
Oh.
So I'm gonna send the copy. I'm gonna put it here in chat for everyone, as well as I'm gonna put it in private for everyone who's on stream right now. So
betting
we'll see.
it on Anguirus, on everyone's souls.
You're gonna treat it. You're gonna treat it like I am, like me in the casino when I put everything on black.
17 black.
I'm still sticking with Mothra. I think my reasonings are pretty solid.
I was just thinking, if me and Black or Rooney ever like met together, we go to a casino, and I just look at him and I go, "Wind guide you," as I put all of his money on black.
Always. 17 black. No, and then you just go, let it ride.
No, it's just
you seen that one?
Bet on black.
No, Zim, have you seen that one? The one where the demon guy Giggle goes like, let it ride over and over again. It's made by the same guy that made Profane.
You want to get?
I need to now, though.
No, it's by the same. It's by the same guy that did the ibuprofen meme, like the ibuprofen.
Oh,
You have any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
You be what? You be profane all night. You be profane your dick off. No, so the joke is basically the guy goes to a genie. He goes, "Hey genie, I want you to replace the word gooning with profane." And then he goes like, "Okay, granted." And then he pulls off a bottle of ibuprofen. "Hey, can you read this for me? Ibuprofen." He's like, "Yeah, you be profane all night. You be profane your dick." And it's just been a running joke ever since.
No, it's the him where he's like where his tongue's sticking out makes it even funnier.
Yeah, and it's rotoscoped.
Yeah, that's like the only part that is. But yeah, does anyone want to say anything else when it comes to like disengaging? Because I think if that is the case,
oh yeah,
no, it's like if like I'm easy to rage bait. I'm sorry, I'm very easy to rage bait.
If all else fails, the block button is right there.
Yeah. No, the thing Minecraft. Is that's the problem with disengaging. Like that's the thing. Like disengaging is actually harder. Like everyone has their rage baits. Like for example, as I said, if someone insults me, I just want to like fucking like make fun of their dead grandma or something like that. Like I go really fucking hard. And if someone says something that's really really stupid, also like I screenshotted an example. I had two rage baits. When someone insults me and when someone assumes shit about me. I don't know why that like makes me really mad. For example,
no, I'm the same.
There was this clown that said, "I've been watching movies since the 90s. Actually, I've seen movies progress in its effects. You guys are Zoomers who only became Godzilla fans from the Monsterverse or -1. I've been watching Godzilla movies since I was born and with the old Toho suit films." So someone said that to me when I said something in one of Rick's posts, because Rick just keeps like making posts that attracts retards like this. So when someone assumes shit like that, first of all, like I grew up with Godzilla 2098, not with the Monsterverse. And this person was making like very childish logic. So at that point, I just had to tell him, okay, so you are like a fucking dinosaur and you're still sounding like a fucking kid when you're like using logic. And so like I needed to vent a little bit, but after that I just disengaged. But then again, like sometimes it's hard because you still get the notifications, right? Like this person is still replying to you. And in the last month or so, because of the Chainsaw Man ending and, you know, like just like Rick having posted that, for some reason I keep seeing, you know, people replying to him or him, right? Like I just had to disengage to so many conversations in this last month more than in years, and it's hard. It's hard, like because the other person always needs to have the last word, and we as humans are just wired to be annoyed at that, I guess. So disengaging actually takes a lot of not only maturity, but like you have to know yourself. And you also need to be in a place where you kind of have something better to do. You know, because, yeah.
I have a solution. So whenever you get those kinds of comments, just copy what I do to Nico.
What do you mean? What the hell is that supposed to mean? The fuck you mean? I barely even talked to you up until this point.
You're kind of proving his point, Nico. You just got baited by like 2 words. Holy shit.
See, Nico, unlike you, I wouldn't let the opinions of a black man affect me.
Yeah, Nico, like you
Anyway,
literally.
wait,
Nico,
Rudy,
It's
No,
not very
what,
woke of you, Zim.
no,
You
we're
didn't
Rudy,
make
what
it.
was it?
No,
What was it you
no,
were gonna
no,
rage
no,
bait me
you-
with?
Nico, what was it
I was-
you said?
I was
You
gonna
shut
ask
the
you.
hell up right now.
I
You
was, I was,
did your
no,
own-
Minecraft. I was gonna ask you if you ever heard of Hava.
What?
I'm not falling for that. I ain't falling
Have
for
a
that.
nice day.
I ain't falling for that. I ain't falling for that shit.
What was that?
Who the hell do you think
said?
I am? 05?
You
Hell
just
no.
got joy baited. You just got joy baited. Minecraft.
Thank you.
Get joy baited.
Thank you, actually. I needed that.
Nico, what was that you said? She's just a fucking monkey.
Why? No, shut up.
It's so funny how there's so much like lore that will just get brought up on stream because of like the late
Why
night.
do you
follow.
gotta?
No,
you gotta do
no,
this?
no. Nico's like this. No, Nico's like this. He doesn't concern himself with the opinions of monkeys.
Shut up. You don't know the context. You don't know the context. If Joe's nowhere here right now, he'll explain the whole damn thing.
How many people here even knows the context?
I'm just going to pretend what the context is. I'm just going to invent it in my mind and assume it's the truth.
Is it black people?
Well, your truth is full of shit because it's not the truth.
Also,
Yeah,
right
well,
now,
I just
at the
decided that it
moment,
was.
I'm gonna treat this Zimcast
Well, I
as now
decided
being
you're
like
full of
the
shit.
local
Or that
Vegas
opinion.
bets.
Yeah.
So right now we have Hedera in the lead at the moment, followed by Mothra and Anguirus tied up with Ghidorah.
As usual, you
trailing behind.
always bet on the slop.
Yeah.
The Smaug.
Dude, I'm.
One second, wait, before anyone else says anything.
Wait, so what if I win since I'm the leader of the Hedera Brigade? Like, what do I win?
These
Give me a
nuts.
coal for Christmas. You get coal for Christmas. How about that?
But yeah, now since someone said the smog, no 05. That is not how smog works.
No, it wouldn't it, no, isn't it? Wouldn't it be funny?
Not an instrument.
Wait.
No,
wait.
I didn't even
Zim,
say
Zim,
smog. I said Smaug.
Zim. What if Hedora had a really, really pouty mouth and we just called him the Pog Monster?
That has so many worse implications because of the other definition of Pog, and Hedora is like one of the only female monsters.
I keep forgetting Hidora's female.
Do y'all forget?
I
that
mean,
the
her
guy-
name is she has Dora in her name.
No,
So.
Rooney, it goes deeper than that. Do you want to know what her eyes were designed off of?
I'm going to take a wild guess and assume it's female genitalia.
Yes.
You're right on the money.
Yeah, like, what else could it be?
Just I mean, wait. That means someone needs to do a Godzilla edit with the Trump comment.
Wait,
guys,
does that
guys,
mean
is
that-
what female genitalia looks like?
I
Like,
looked at Hedora. I looked at Hedora and said, "Wow, those are real fuckable eyes."
Malana is not Hedora.
I looked at Ghidorah and his big, beautiful faces. I grabbed his ass cheeks and I'm like,
Grab her by the just grab her by the eyes.
I asked her, "Those
Never
are-
been
those are
cracks
some
in
of the
her
most
head
beautiful
or
eyes
some shit.
I have
They all
ever seen in my
came in
life. I
one
have
after
never seen
another.
Yes,
eyes
oh, I
as
remember
beautiful as
Pagra.
those."
they all came in one after the other. They were like, all right, we're here. Let's go. Blah.
No, I looked at the eyes. I said, "Wow, those are real fuckable eyes. They're the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen." She said, "Wow, I want you to stick your dick in your 2-inch dick in my eyes, please fuck my eyes."
Oh, what?
Something.
No,
something.
this is how you
Then
do
I
it.
stuck my dick into like the tubes on her back.
I stuck my protein tube in that and I splooged my white sauce and I said, "Wow, that's a lot of sauce." I literally gave her a lobotomy.
You went from like
Blue eyes.
Trump to like late stage Michael Jackson.
What? What the fuck? What?
You can tell it's that kind. It's that time of night.
It is
No, Zim, I did
9:32
not.
for me. I am
No.
assuming it is
12:30.
midnight on the East Coast.
It is.
Zim. I had not. I didn't have any relations with that smart monster. That ignorant. That's ignorant.
No.
I'm
It's
actually looking forward to that
prematurely
Michael Jackson movie, by the way.
All right, kids. Let's get on to the show before I die. We'll go from the top to the bottom. When I bring you to the front, you'll get you some shillings.
Imagine if this is how you give Hedora a lobotomy by just sticking it in there.
Oh God!
I mean, that's what Godzilla did.
that
That's
is
what Godzilla
a
did at the end
horror
of
genre.
Hedora. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's
Shell.
actually. Oh yeah, I have nothing to show. I literally have no PC right now, so I'm stuck in time.
How dare you?
The epic.
You're stuck in the dishwasher of time.
Present your stuff, Brack.
What, me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you.
Oh, I thought you said brick. Oh, okay. So,
I am bricked up.
I mean, true. I mean, you are stuck in the dishwasher of time, so
Bro,
somebody's gonna
Yeah.
take advantage of that.
Okay.
Why did that make me laugh?
Why did that make you laugh so hard?
Anyway, so my stuff to shill. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. Must have been the lobotomy. Anyway, so my stuff to brain shill. Jesus.
Oh God.
So Black Screen episode 11 is currently out. It's on King Von Quest. You should watch it. Dune video. I started writing it, so check that out. I posted new music recently on Rumble. Check that out too. I have a server. I have a Buy Me a Coffee. I'm starting to post more frequently on Patreon. I got a new upload coming up. I'm gonna start editing it tomorrow. And yeah, Moon Knight video. Gonna be starting that after the Dune video. And I got some stuff in the works. Probably our biggest project yet. Not gonna reveal what it is. If you want details, go on my Patreon.
We all know it's an OnlyFans.
Well, Lau, I assume
Please.
that's what you were helping him with, right?
Exactly. Like you gotta have
Yeah,
the
with all the
conflict for it.
footage. Yeah, with all the footage. Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, that's all I got for today. And I'm writing my novel, so that's also in the works. Gonna get that published in a couple of years because I still got a lot to do. And yeah, no, stay tuned. I got some stuff in the works, and it's gonna be massive.
Not
That's
unlike
it.
your
I'm done.
Oh, I guess it's my turn now. I actually have started uploading videos now. I have a video just going over just some random thoughts I've had about Minus Zero and Supernova over the last few days. I'm currently in the editing process about a video essay on why Gogmazios is in contention for the best kaiju in just video games, period. I also have scripts in the work for a video on Oguri Cap and why she's a great character from Uma Musume Cinderella Grey, and a video that will start the first big project on my channel, that being a proper analysis of the Showa era, because holy shit, some of these people suck at this. And I would like to make these as an actual opportunity to discuss the Showa era and why it's good. So, yeah. Keep your eyes for those in the coming months. I also have other videos planned in the future, such as the Shin Godzilla video and a video about Tyrant, which I will, but that probably isn't going to be coming out until later in the year. And if all goes well, you might run into me at G-Fest. So, have a good day, have a good morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are. Drink some water and hug your mother. And that's all from me.
Okay, follow me on Instagram and LDeviantArts. I post that peak shit all the time. I've been drawing a bunch of other fan kaijus, which is pretty fun. So for any recommendations, read Gaiatima, play Pokemon Fire Red, and I don't know, try to watch Project Hail Mary because I know I need to. That's all I need to say.
Well, this pretty much has been your guest, the Sea Monster. And as far as what I have going on, I do have a couple I do have like a couple stream ideas like going on. It's just a matter of scheduling. One of them will actually. One of them. It's not going to be. One of them would be in regards to the whole controversy involving a certain Lorenzo, which Which won't be the immediate stream, but it'll be the one after. So there is that. And I have I got some projects in the works. I mean, I did kind of mention the whole letting people like things type of thing that, earlier in the stream. But that one, I'm still going to be doing some reformatting with that. So for right now, it's just going to be it mainly just focusing on scripting my Darkened Moon video. That's going to be epic, let's just say. So stay tuned for any updates for that and other streams. Follow me on here and follow me on Twitter, Sea Monster. And as I say, grab around by the pussy. Anyways, good night, folks. I'm gonna go.
I also, before I forget, I also have a Instagram and a Twitter which you can follow me on. Although I do need to actually remember to post there. That's all.
All right. As for me, you can find me on YouTube as the Kaiju Knot. I do vlog videos, figure reviews, different discussion topics from Godzilla, Kaiju, anime, stuff like that. I am currently starting a fundraiser for making little minifigures of my Pocho character. So if you guys want to check that out, it's in the link in my socials of Vic Monstrous or Crispy Vic. You can follow me there if you want, donate, share, anything helps. And as well as I got commissions open on my Ko-fi page. If you want to check that out there too on my socials as well. And stay tuned for any upcoming streams discussing art and stuff like that. Check out my speed paints. And that's about it for me.
All right, you can find me here on YouTube at Minecraft World 1954. That's my @ or just Minecraft World. I recently did a live stream earlier today about the Raiga trilogy, which Kuru and Nico were on that as well, and it was pretty fun. Watching the movies was not. Well, watching the third one was not. The first two were fine. But, yeah. And I have video essays in the work, though I've been a little busy recently, so I haven't really touched them all that much. And I have my book, Light in the Black Lake, which I am working on. And you can also find me on Instagram. I've been doing OC Kaiju April, so that's been fun. And you can also find me on Kara and Blue Sky, though I'm not as active on either of those. But, yeah. And go watch Project Hail Mary. Go read Gayatima. Absolutely. Gayatima deserves as much love as it can get. And, take care, guys. Peace.
And, yeah, I guess I'll end it off. You guys know where to find me, as always. Simzilla99. Just add an OG in front of it for Twitter. Those are my numbers for Discord if you're trying to find me there. But... yeah, I also got a TeePublic right there. Show the case of that. I'll show you all the current designs, even my profile picture right here. There's a modified version of that you can wear on a shirt. I also have this one right here for the Patreon. I love the Patreon. I'm about to post things for the new shirt design. I just haven't gotten to do that yet, unfortunately. But that's where you get to see things about my book, my novella, Kaiju Quarantine, with some videos and a chapter segment coming out soon. To become a patron there, I would very much appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this, being awesome, being those cool dudes, as people might say. I guess like the takeaway from all this, try to be as awesome as you can be. Don't be an asshole, I guess, and
Don't be 05.
Don't be an 05. Debate people. Don't be a roach. Exactly. But as always, guys,
people in the eye.
Cool. Bye.
I'm going to diddle you.
My
when this is
worm
done,
stands
Kuro.
ready for your arrival.